Hello everybody and welcome to the Chris Sweet Beverley Stadium for totally free live footage of Hampton and Richmond Borough versus Ebbsfleet United in the National League South. We believe this is the only live free stream in the elite level of football today, so you're quite privileged to be tuning in, obviously, and totally for free. I think we're in for a pretty good game, Rob. What do you think we've got in store today?
Yeah, I think we're going to have a good game. Good afternoon, Matt. Yes, Ebbsfleet have always been a good side throughout the time in the National League South and also in the National League itself. So Gary will need to make sure that the game that he played today is up to that standard, and I'm sure we will get it.
It's a pretty boggy Beverley out there, but I think we're in for a good game. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome everybody to the Chris Sweet Beverley Stadium for live footage today of Hampton and Richmond against Ebbsfleet. National League South, I think it's fair to say we're in for a pretty good game. There's been a lot of rain on the Beverley, I must admit, but it's looking as good as it can do given the situation. It's January, it's pretty chilly, but it's good for non-league football. Rob, what do you reckon?
It's a good afternoon for football. Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, it's the kind of afternoon where, football deserves to be played. Yes, the pitch is soft. Yes, there's been rain, but the rain stopped. The sun's going to come out, and it's going to be a good afternoon just for a good game.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Now, we've actually got a special guest for you today who's sat 2 metres away from me, to my left-hand side, shall I say. Hampton legend, let's just say, Mr. Dean Inman.
Hello, good afternoon all.
Thanks for joining us, Dean. Here by popular demand across our various social channels over the last 24 hours or so. Dean's obviously, unfortunately for all Beavers fans tuning in today, suspended for today's game. Following his, let's just say, tap tackle versus Dulwich Hamlet. So we thought we'd grill Dean for a few minutes before the game, given that he's just twiddling his thumbs anyway. So, Dean, thank you for joining us. First question that I was going to pose to you was around, obviously, team selection today, your suspension. Gary has opted to bring in Rue Donaldson at centre-half today to partner club captain Luke Ruddock. Clearly Rue left back by trade. I mean, what can he bring to that position today, do you think?
He's got a lot of experience. He can play in a few positions, as you've seen over the last few years. He's played left wing, left back, and in training when we're doing games in which we need another centre half, then Rue does fill in. He's got the height, he's good in the air, and he's good on the ball. So he'll fit in nicely. And obviously Charlie Wasmer, it's just he needs a few more training sessions before he can get back, because otherwise you throw him in and he could just tweak a muscle or be out a bit longer. So he's opted for the safe approach with going for Rue and Luke.
He's a model pro, isn't he, Rue, as well?
Yeah, as much as I don't like admitting it, he's a good guy.
I thought you might say that. Yeah. How frustrating is it, Dean, at the moment with obviously the COVID situation and the impact that's having on games being played? I mean, clearly you've got to prepare for every game as if it's going to go ahead, but clearly, as we all have found out this season, games are getting called off at quite short notice. I mean, how frustrating is that for you?
Yeah, it is very frustrating, but we're very lucky in the sense that we've still got a routine, and for me, I can still go to work, and then I come to training, and I come to games. So I'm in a very lucky position where I've still got my routine, whereas a lot of people are stuck in their houses and they can't do much. And it's one of them where it's out of everybody's hands. If we get told that a team's got a positive case of COVID and the game gets called off, then the gaffer gets us either in training or looks to get a friendly or try and maybe reschedule a game with a team that's also been kind of shot down with COVID that can also play. So as much as it is frustrating, we're still very, very lucky to be able to even be here and carry on.
No, absolutely. I mean, obviously, turning back to the to your teammates. I mean, clearly you know Alan Junior pretty well. I mean, we all know how good Alan is as a goalkeeper. I know he's a close friend of yours as well. From an outsider looking in, as it were, he's probably one of the best goalkeepers I've seen at this level. I mean, what's it like playing in front of him? Yeah,
it's brilliant. I've played with him. I've played a lot of games with him now. And it's so nice as a defender knowing if they get past you, they've still got a hell of a job to get past the keeper, and he's definitely the best keeper I've played with at this level and above.
You just fancy him to. It sounds a bit. You just fancy him to save. If he's facing a penalty, you fancy him to save it, don't you? He's one of those keepers.
Yeah, he's brilliant, and even in the changing room and off the pitch, he's just an all-round great guy, and he's already shown this year how many points he's saved us alone. I was in the summer. It was funny because I was talking to Gaffer and trying to get Jules in and trying to get him in, and eventually we managed to get him in, and it was a massive addition for us.
He's certainly the best keeper I've seen in a Hampton shirt. In the years I've been coming down here, I must admit. Final question, Dean. Obviously, I mentioned at the beginning, you are without question a Hampton legend. There's no doubt about that. You obviously started at Hampton many years ago now. And you've obviously gone around to other teams and then come back to your roots, as it were. What's sort of the difference between now and then, would you say, in terms of, maybe professionalism or whatever? How does the club differ from sort of 10 years ago to now?
It's hard because when I was first at Hampton, I didn't really, because I was so young, I was just playing football. I didn't really appreciate the surroundings, and then when you move to other clubs, you actually, it sounds like a cliche, but you kind of realise how good it was when you left, and then obviously I actually teamed back up with Dev at Maidenhead after he gave me my debut when I was fairly young, and he put a lot of faith in me, and when he come to sign me again at Maidenhead, it was a no-brainer for me, and we ended up being very successful there. And it was when obviously I left Billericay and went to Kingstonian. It weren't the best time for me. I didn't play my best football at all for Kays, and it was when Gary rung and asked me to come back down. It was a no-brainer.
Decision made. Well, I can speak to everybody, Dean. I mean, we're so glad to have you back here. I mean, I've only been come down here for 6-7 seasons, but we say to everybody tuning in week out on these streams that I think me and Seb are partly in love with you in terms of how we admire the way you play football, which is a bit weird to say.
I suppose you're only human, aren't you?
Well, exactly. But no, thanks, Dean. Those of you who obviously are going to be tuning in for the game, Dean is going to be co-commentating with Rob Overfield, and therefore you'll be getting to hear some insights from Dean sort of throughout the first half and second half. As sort of the game goes on. So before the game, we caught up with Gary McCann, and we are going to cut to a clip now just to give you guys an insight into Gary's pre-match thoughts, and then we'll come back for a bit more pre-match chat, and then before the game kicks off at 3.
Good afternoon, Gary. We're here home at the Beverley again today. Against an Ebbsfleet team that are looking good.
Yeah, we was desperate to get the game on today. I think there's no question, Ben. It was it was a concern to me. We've had a 21-day period with no games. From the 5th of December, we've just gone another 14 days with no games. And if you look, we'd have lost today. We'd have had another 10 days from today before we've got a game. Because there's no game penciled in next Saturday. So the challenges that that are being put our way, we're dealing with them. We're getting on with them. We're not complaining. It's tough, but it's tough for the players. I think expectations of supporters that are watching from afar and even management have got to, it's really difficult for them. It's really hard to get form and momentum and fluency in any of the players, let alone collectively. But we're doing okay at the moment in trying circumstances, but we just get on with it and do the best we can.
Yeah, and 2 bits of transfer news this week. Obviously, Mauro and Jacob both come in, and Mauro starts still in the starting 11.
Yeah, I mean, Maro's a player that I feel is beyond this level. I think he's a Football League player. He had a really good season at Barnet. For whatever reason, they never took him on again after being there for 8, 9, 10 years. But his experiences have only been in National League and Football League. He's a great addition to us. We thank Wingate and Aaron Sharp for being accommodating on that. But both of them are definitely going to add to what we've got. Jake Shepherd's a player I've tried to sign 2 or 3 times. And he obviously can't play today because of COVID issues. He's in an isolation period, so that hasn't been an ideal scenario because we had the game off last week and now he's in a 10-day isolation period. So Maro comes in today because we want to get him up and running as quickly as possible, and we just feel he's light, and intense play on a quite heavy pitch is going to maybe make the difference.
Yeah, and in terms of the rest of the team today, obviously Inman's missing through suspension.
Yep.
Got Deadfield back in the centre of midfield. Can you talk us through the rest of the lineup?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've got no Inman suspended today. Charlie's about a week shy. Cole Brown's back up and running now. Imran Uchi's back up and running now. The squad is very healthy. There's only one injury, which is Ryan Gondo. He's got a shoulder problem, which we're hoping it'll not be too serious. But he went for a scan yesterday. But we're in a good place. We have got key players out today. If you look at that board with the ones that we've got not got playing today, it would normally be a problem for most teams. But you look at our starting 11 today, it's as strong. We've got Ruud Donaldson in a slightly different position. He's going to play, in a 2 with Luke Ruddock in the heart of our defence, because watching the last 2 games of Everfleet, the mobility and energy and pace they've got in the final third, I just think he'd be more suited in there with Luke, and we put him in there for 70 minutes on Tuesday in the in-house game, and we've gone with that today. But we are playing today's game like it could be our last. Who knows what's around the corner? I think there's a real fight going on between the DCMS and the National League at the moment in terms of the grant / loan situation. Let's see where that develops and where that goes to next week. But we're definitely filling in the players' mindsets with that. Who knows if this is the last one? Let's hope it's not, because we've worked really hard to get us where we are now.
Yeah, fingers crossed. And then final bit of news as well, I think Ty is departed the club as well, he's great.
Yeah, I think Tyrone was desperate to get more game time and more minutes. We invited him back in pre-season to try and sort of get him up and running, but for different reasons it hasn't quite worked out, and that's very much how it is. It's that happens in football. He started ever so well in his initial period with us, but he needs to find more regular football and find some form and confidence, and we are, for me, covered in that area with Minhas and David Fisher as well as Nico, so that decision was made a few weeks ago. But it's as players come in, you have to see players go the other way as well, and it may be a little bit of juggling to be done over the coming weeks. Who knows where we'll be with that. But also, I just want a special mention. I mean, the groundsman today.
Fantastic.
I think speaking to Richard this morning, it was highly unlikely the game would be off. But looking at that, they've done an amazing job. So credit to Richard and his team and all the helpers that have come in today to make that happen.
Yeah, done a brilliant job in there since the early hours, haven't they? So,
yeah.
Thank you very much, and best of luck today.
Thank you.
Even if I can't do it myself, I can get supplies to those who've lost their income. I can be there for someone who's isolated. I can comfort a family after disaster. I have the power to help. And you have it too. Your donation is powerful. Give help or get help at redcross.org.uk.
So, quick run through the teams today in this National League South fixture. Hampton Richmond Borough versus Ebbsfleet United. 3 changes for the Beavers. Dean Inman suspended. Ryan Gondo, unfortunately, dislocated shoulder the other day, so he's going to be out for a little while. And David Fisher drops to the bench following his start against Dorking. In come Deadfield, Wilson Carvalho, and new signing Vil Yet. So just running through the starting 11 very quickly for you. Number 1, Alan Julian. Number 2, club captain Luke Ruddock. Number 3, Rue Donaldson. Number 6, Sam Cox. Number 7, Wilson Carvalho, who comes in to replace Fisher, who drops to the bench, as I say. Number 8, Sam Deadfield. Number 10, Jake Gray. Number 12, Nico Muir. Number 17, Tyrell Miller-Rodney. Number 18, Kyron Farrell. And number 22, Mauro Villette. Substitutes for the Beavers today: number 9, Nathan Minas; number 13, Miles Bowman; number 15, David Fisher; number 19, Christian Smith; and number 21, Razak Coleman. On to the visitors, Mr. Overfield.
Yes, and Ebbsfleet United this afternoon have just made one change, and that's only on the bench. The starting 11 is still the same as what it was for the last match at against Canvey Island, and so they line up within goal. Number 12, Jordan Holmes, and number 2, Toby Adebayor Rowling, and number 3, Bobby Joe Taylor, number 4, Safer Kakraman, number 7, Adam Mekki, the captain, number 9, Rakesh Bingham, number 16, Will Wood, number 18, Alfie Egan, number 21, Jack Paxman, number 22, Ben Chapman, and completing the starting 11 is number 24, Chris Solly. And on the bench for the Fleet this afternoon, it is goalkeeping substitute number 1, Tom Hadler. The change on the bench is Mike West coming in for Reece Grant, number 14, Iffy Allen, number 17, Alex Irick, and completing that is number 20, James Dobson. It looks like they're going to be playing something like a 4-4-3 given that lineup.
Yeah, does look like it. Rob, thanks very much for that. We'll have a quick look at the league table, and both teams are in the top half of the National League South, as you can see on the screen. Hampton sitting comfortably in the playoff positions at the moment in 6th place, having played 14 games, 23 points. The Fleet are in 10th place, as you can see, 19 points. They've played a game less than Hampton, so a win today would obviously see Ebbsfleet go up the table to sort of challenge where Hampton are in the league. So a bit of indifferent form coming into today's game, actually. Looking at the stats pre-game, quite indifferent, in fact, for both sides. Interestingly, the last 4 games, both teams have won 1, drawn 1 and lost 2. So not as I say, it's a bit of an indifferent sort of I guess you can call form coming into the game, but nonetheless, I think today it should end up being a pretty sort of even game. I think, Rob, we were discussing before the game about the amount of goals that both sides have scored and conceded so far this season. Yeah,
I mean, neither team's really got going scoring wise. I mean, Hampton have got 18, the Fleet have scored 16. So you're probably not going to see that many goals here this afternoon. But when you look at the last few weeks, the one match that the teams have in common is games against Dorking Wanderers. When Hampton played Dorking over Christmas, it was a 1-1 of a draw, and then Ebbsfleet played Dorking away on the 5th, and Dorking came away 2-0 winners on that one. So when you look at the comparative records against Dorking, Hampton are possibly looking a little better.
Yeah, Ebbsfleet obviously off the back of a good 2-1 win on Tuesday night against Concord, and obviously the Beavers game versus Havant was postponed due to a COVID case with Havant. So, I mean, I'll bring Dean into this question actually. Dean Inman, who, for those of you that didn't see the first part of this, Dean's suspended today and is gracing us with his presence amongst the commentary team for today to give us his professional insight into the matters on the pitch. I mean, Dean, how sort of important do you think it is that? Let me rephrase that. Obviously, Ebbsfleet have played on Tuesday night, and Hampton haven't, so we've clearly got fresher legs. Do you think that that's going to play a big part in today's game?
It could well do on a heavy pitch like today's. But it's one of them where it was a good 5 days ago, so you'd like to think they've rested up and it should be a level playing field, and we've been training hard anyway. So
no, exactly. It's interesting. You mentioned the heavy pitch. I mean, I was out there this morning at around 10ish, and it's fair to say there was an awful lot of sitting water, let's just say. And Hampton is a club like all non-league clubs that it only functions due to its volunteers, and there was a lot of us out this morning forking the pitch, and it was pretty touch and go, I think it's fair to say. But it's a testimony to Richard, the groundsman, that we managed to get today's game on. But it is very, very boggy out there. I mean, the Hampton players were warming up in front of us, and this is the side of the pitch. So to those of you that are obviously tuning in, looking in, so the side of the pitch where the camera is, this was the better side of the pitch, and I can already see right in front of us that has been really churned up just through sort of 5-10 minutes of warm up on it. So I think that's going to have a pretty big influence on today's game, and it's going to be it's a pretty tough playing surface. Not as tough, however, as so those eagle-eyed amongst you may have seen on, I think it was on Twitter, there was a clip that made Twitter the other day of Hampton against Canvey Island, I believe it was, from a season back in the late 90s. We're going to put it up on the screen for you now. So that, let's just first say that there was a fair bit of sitting water on the pitch on that day. It definitely isn't as bad as that today. But having said that, the pitch, the sitting water has certainly gone, but it is very boggy. So yeah, it's going to be pretty hard, I think it's fair to say, to keep the ball on the ground today. And for those teams that are play a lot of passing football, this is going to make for a tricky surface. What do you think, Rob? What's your predictions?
Well, given the fact that neither team has really got used to scoring goals this season, I don't think you'll be expecting anything like the trip to Billericay. The form for Ebbsfleet away from home isn't great. We all know about Hampton's home form. I'd like to say, we could win this, and I think we can, but I think it could be something like a 0-0.
Yeah. Dean, what do you reckon?
2-0 to the Beavers.
Of course. Yeah, I love your optimism. We shall see. For those of you, obviously, I'm conscious there are Ebbsfleet fans obviously tuning into this live stream today. We do aim to be as impartial as we possibly can. I mean, clearly we are, Dean's a Hampton player, and myself and Rob are clearly Hampton fans, but we are fully aware that it's never nice watching and listening to a biased commentary, so we will try our very, very best to not be particularly biased if at all possible, because it can be quite annoying. I appreciate that. But apologies in advance if we do slip into fan mode or indeed player mode, because it is sometimes quite hard to avoid. But the sun is now shining down on the Beverley, and it's cold and crisp. Saturday in January. Unfortunately, game behind closed doors, which is incredibly frustrating for everybody, but there is light at the end of the tunnel, and I remain convinced that at some point this year we will be returning to the terraces. Referee blows his whistle and we're off. Miller Rodney for the Beavers, good interception. Out to Wilson Carvalho. Nico Muir just tried to tap it off to Carvalho but didn't succeed. Donaldson. The ball goes out for a Hampton throw. As I say, we are providing this service completely free of charge. Any spare donations that you can give to the cause, as it were, would be greatly appreciated. A lot of work and effort goes into putting these on for free. hrbfc.live, and click on the donate button. Every penny truly does count, even if it's the cost of a coffee. Any pounds that you can provide would be incredibly appreciated. Farrell for Hampton. Chaperone into the corner. It's gone out for a Hampton throw. Kyron Farrell for Hampton with the throw-in. Jake Gray with some good movement, good layoff. Farrell on his weaker foot. And that's a good claim by the keeper, because he had the sun right in his eyes there, Rob. That actually wasn't an easy catch.
It wasn't, and whoever's decided to kick in this direction, perhaps Captain Luke Ruddick saw that right at the start. kicking in this direction, the sun's going to be in Jordan Holmes' eyes, and that's clever captaincy there, because then in the second half the floodlights will be on and it will not affect Alan Julian.
Miller Rodney in the engine room, as he so always is. Phil Yeat. Deadfield. Good sweeping pass by Sam Deadfield. Wilson Carvalho, he's been flagged offside. That was marginal. Encouraging to see the return of Sam Deadfield today, Dean. He brings such a lot to the Hampton team. He really does. I mean, Seb and I always say, and Rob and I were saying on the last game, he's one of those players that you know when you really do miss him when he's not in the side.
Yeah, he's one of them players that kind of just plays the game at his own pace, which that's always a good sign. If you're a good player, you'll always slow the game down to suit how you play, and he does that well, and he is massive for us in the middle of the park.
Obviously signed a one-year contract early in the season, which is great news for Hampton. Adebayo Rowling for Ebbsfleet. It's well cut. Oh, and yeah, the referee's given a foul there on Will Wood. Foul by Kyron Farrer. I think that's the right decision. Good play by Wood there. And it's an Ebbsfleet free kick. Looks like it's going to be taken. Yeah, quick hit, quick free kick by Adebayo Rowling there. Wood. It's well blocked. Miller Rodney up to Nico Muir. Yeah, referee's given a handball there. That was. There's well. How do we explain that? It seemed like a pretty harsh decision on Bobby Joe Taylor. I mean, it looked to me, as he exclaimed, that the ball did hit him on his midriff. But anyway,
it was his stomach, wasn't it?
Yeah, ref does give a free kick to Hampton. Luke Ruddock, good to see Luke Ruddock playing, starting again. Obviously, he's had his injury problems this season, but it's a good free kick to Carvalho. And he's offside again, and Gary's not going to be happy about that. That's quite frustrating.
He's looking right across the line as well, so he should be able to time his run better there. But
pretty even start so far, I would say. Hampton look like we're in the 4-4-2. Villette, should I say, is definitely playing off of Nico Muir. Miller Rodney in his familiar defensive midfield position, just loitering in front of the back four. It's a good header by Donaldson. Bingham. Danger man Bingham for Ebbsfleet. Top goal scorer this season. He's certainly one to watch, the big number 9 for the visitors. Closely marshalled by Donaldson at the back there. Good play by the Ebbsfleet winner, who whips the ball in, and that's a good header, good interception by Rue Donaldson there. He's a strapping lad, is Bingham. Rob, we did a bit of research before the game, and he's certainly the danger man. I mean, his stats speak for themselves.
Indeed they do, and he's one of those players that you can never take your eye off. I guess as a defender you always need to know exactly where he is, because for a fraction of a second he could cause you a lot of problems.
It's an Ebbsfleet corner over on the far side. And who else but Alan Julian comes to claim. That's a good kick through. Now Miller Rodney is the furthest man forward, unusually for Hampton. He's chasing it down and putting the goalkeeper under a lot of pressure. Well played, Tyrrell Miller Rodney there. That's a good ball in, and the Ebbsfleet midfield number 21 has got he had a lot of time there, but just slightly misplaced his pass. Well intercepted by Sam Cox. And the ball goes out for a goal kick. Sam Cox, Dean, let's pick another player. I mean, obviously he's in his, I say unfamiliar position, but he seems to have played probably more games at right back for Hampton than he has in his more familiar central midfield role. He brings a lot to the team, right?
Yeah, he's good on and off the pitch, and like you say, he kind of made right back his own at the back end of last year. Done very well there, and started off this season the way he left last. So he's done very well for us down the right.
Yeah, Muir Good ball through to Viljett. The goalkeeper just slipped slightly.
He's done well.
The
there,
goalkeeper,
the keeper,
yeah, Jordan Holmes just lost his footing, and if he's doing that in the first few minutes of the game, it just goes to show as this game goes on and the pitch gets cut up even more, this is going to become more and more tricky for these players. Luke Ruddock with a good header out for Hampton. Jake Paxman. Karaman. That's a very, very good ball out to Wood on the far side for Hampton. Sorry, for Ebbsfleet. Wood. Will Wood again for Hampton. That's good play. And that's well intercepted and well dealt with there by Donaldson, but it does come straight back. Excellent tackle there by Sam Deadfield. Bit of a break in play, just whilst both teams position. Adebayo Rowling. Yeah, Sam, that's a foul. That's a late foul there. Well played, Sam Deadfield. I think the Ebbsfleet player there, he knew that was a foul. Right decision from the referee. Play on. Let's crack on. Miller Rodney with the free kick for Hampton. Oh no, he's leaving it to Alan Julian at the back. So yeah, so far so good, I think, Rob. I mean, it's been pretty equal. What are we? How far are we in? 8 minutes in. Pretty equal.
Yeah, it has been pretty equal. I mean, as we've said, the pitch is definitely soft, but they're still trying to play football on it, which is pretty good.
Yeah. Foul by Sam Deadfield there, and referee correctly gives the free kick to the Fleet. Paxman. Good little dink with the outside of the foot through there, and well trapped back by Miller Rodney, who I mean, that's his bread and butter. That's Miller Rodney at his best, tracking back, helping out his defenders, mopping up play, winning the throw in for his team. He adds so much for me, Miller Rodney. You mentioned, Dean, about Cox making the right back position his own back end last season. I mean, Miller Rodney, he's a player who, again, when he's not in the team, you miss him. I mean, he's a very important sort of cog in the middle of the park for the Beavers. Number 17 for Hampton. Yeah,
he's another versatile one as well. Like, he can easily slip into right back, or if it got that bad, that he can even go into right mid. So yeah, no, he's another good lad for us, to be fair.
Throw in for Hampton over on the far side. Looks like Sam Cox will eventually get the ball when it's thrown back from the residential houses behind. Yeah, it's Sam Cox. Viljett, well up by Viljett. Viljett spent a lot of his time at Barnet, I believe, Rob, and I think he, if I'm not mistaken, he's played under Gary briefly on loan when Gary McCann was at Hendon 2 or 3 seasons ago. Obviously, Ryan Gondo, for those that perhaps did miss the beginning of this stream, Ryan Gondo is unfortunately injured, so we've got Viljett, who's come in the sort of Gondo position, I suppose you can call it. Bags of experience. Looks like quite a nippy little player.
He does, and he's one of those players that Gary's looked at for a long time. He's known about and really appreciated.
That's really good play by Miller Rodney there. Farrell. Good ball through. Muir, well held up. What a good turn and a good save. It's a familiar part of Nico Muir's game, that holding the ball up, turning and shooting. He does it so well. Anyway, Hampton have gone from being it's well marshalled and well knocked back by Sam Cox, and a good kick upfield by Alan Julian. Deadfield. Nice pass. Well cut out by the Ebbsfleet keeper. Viljett, for a pretty small lad, he's got up excellently well there, and he's won a free kick for his team. I mean, Villette can't be more than about 5'6", 5'7", Rob, and he's got up incredibly well
You're
there.
actually not far off. He's listed as 5'5.5".
There you go.
He's a little player, but he's one of those that always puts himself about, and it may not be very big, but it's one of those that you definitely notice all the time if it gets into a position where it can cause trouble.
We have a message from the one and only Alec Barry on the YouTube. Tell Dean he's my hero. There you go, Dean. I said you're a Hampton legend. Sam Deadfield with the free kick for the Beavers, looking to mount an attack here. Relatively high line from the Ebbsfleet defence. Ebbsfleet deal with that very well.
Going back to that, I'm not quite sure what the ref gives the free kick for. I don't see what the Ebbsfleet
It was
player
pretty
done wrong
innocuous, yeah. I must admit, it was.
Number 18 yellow card.
It was quite a confusing one, that one, I must admit. But I think, both teams have sort of set up, I think, Rob, as we thought they would do. We've called it correctly in terms of Ebbsfleet's lineup, in terms of the 4-4-2 formation, by looks of it. Hampton definitely 4-4-2 with Villette just off of Muir at the top. Yeah. And Miller Rodney obviously playing in the slightly more defensive role with Gray and Deadfield ahead of him. Long kick upfield to Wood, who does well to keep that in, but Kyron Farrell, as he does so often this season, deals with it very, very well, and it's a good long ball up by Rue Donaldson. Carvalho. That's well played there by Paxman. And Solly knocks the ball through, and it's well dealt with once more by Alan Julian. Such a safe pair of hands at the back for the Beavers. Ruddock. Paxman, seen a lot of the ball in this opening 13 minutes or so. Wood, that looks like a foul to me, but the ref has not given that. He's given a throw to Hampton, but that looked like a pretty sort of, how would you describe that, Rob? He was all over him, but there you go.
It was a bit, and if they're wanting a Hampton shirt that badly, we'll nip into the shop and get him one.
Paxman, again, doing well for Ebbsfleet. Karaman. That's a good ball out. Ebbsfleet looking to mount an attack here. And the ball did knock up. That looked to me like it might have hit Luke Ruddock. And there's I'll catch my breath now. So the first incident there looked like the ball might have ricocheted up and hit Luke Ruddock on the arm. Certainly in the view of the Ebbsfleet players, that did happen. And then very quickly after that, it looked to me like there could have potentially been a case for a pulling of a shirt. But referee weighs play on to both instances there, Rob.
Yeah, he did. I have to admit, it was, in many respects, the handball would have been a harsh one because there was no chance to get the hand out of the way. It was, a straight ricochet up onto it, and it would have been a harsh one to get. And the second incident afterwards, yeah, I think that was the right call by the referee eventually. Yeah, it looked as if there was a little bit of contact, but both players, just went for the ball and that was it. Looking back to Mauro Villette, made nearly 200 appearances at Barnet.
Did he really? That many?
That many, but he's been out on loan a lot of places like Hendon, Boreham Wood. He's currently at Wingate and Finchley, which for a player of his qualities, perhaps it's a little bit under where we would expect to play.
Skills by Donaldson there with a really good ball out as well. Jake Gray had a pretty quiet game, quiet opening so far by Villette. Good turn by Villette. And a nice ball out. Oh, yeah, it's just slightly behind Carvalho there, frustratingly for Hampton. And it does go out for a Ebbsfleet throw-in.
Just going back to the pitch, I think Maro would have had a shot there if it didn't get stuck under his feet.
Yeah, he certainly was tempted. Villette with it, and that's a late tackle there by Chris Solly, and I think he
Could be a
might
yellow
find
card
himself
here,
in the
yeah.
referee's book here. It was late. What do you reckon, Dean? I mean, yes, it was a foul. Yes, it was a late tackle. It's his first offence, Solly. The referee does brandish a yellow there.
I think it's a yellow. He's dived
Probably,
in. He was a couple of seconds late.
Even if it's first foul, you give a yellow, right?
Yeah, but then you're letting, if you go on that, you can have 22 fouls like that in a game and go unpunished. But
Yeah.
he's got to set a marker somewhere, and the ref.
This is the insight that I like. Someone that actually plays the game, unlike me, who just sits on the sidelines and commentates and drinks beer.
I mean, I'd still be moaning if you give me a yellow card for that. But
Yeah.
But what's new there?
Well, exactly. That tap tackle was definitely a yellow. Well up by Bingham. That's a good leap there by Jake Gray. And the ball goes forward. Rue Donaldson in the area. Yeah, it did look like a slight pullback by Rue there. We mentioned Villette quite a lot, Dean. I mean, obviously he's been training with us this week, I'm assuming.
Yeah, he come in training Tuesday. He looked very sharp.
Looks good, did he?
Yeah, and I know the Wingate and Finchley manager where he's been this year. I spoke to him about him, and he said he's a very, very good player. So, and well, from the first 15 minutes or so, you can see that.
He's looked pretty sharp. I think both teams have. It's a relatively even start to the game. I think Ebbsfleet looked like a pretty well drilled side. Clearly, I'm assuming there's a fair few players in their lineup that have got a lot of experience at this level and above.
You always know when you play teams like Ebbsfleet that they're going to be hard to break down, and they'll be well drilled, and they'll have things worked on. So yeah, it's a good game so far.
Yeah, it is. Donaldson wins the ball again. Jake Gray. He's done well to take that down. He knocks a good ball out to Wilson Carvalho for Hampton. Carvalho well intercepted there by the Ebbsfleet right back Adebayo Rowling. Farrell. Miller Rodney. Donaldson. Wilson Carvalho. He's just not that. That's frustrating by Carvalho. We're in a good position there. Luke Ruddock with the ball back for Hampton. Chased down by Rakish Bingham. Nico Muir for the Beavers. Carvalho, you can hear the pitch. It really is getting more and more churned as each second and minute passes. Miller Rodney, well won, good strength. Carvalho just tries to turn, and Alfie Egan, I think, unfortunately for him, did pull back the Portuguese. And it is a free kick to Hampton on the halfway line. Kyron Farrell with his sweet left foot once more. Nice pass out. Paxman. He's looked good so far, Rob.
He has. I mean, he's been, wherever the ball has been, he's not been far from it. He's the kind of player that, can dictate a game very quickly because he puts such an influence in that centre of midfield.
Jack Paxman, number 21 for Ebbsfleet. Certainly one of the standout players for the visitors so far. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, he's very good, Jack. And Jules will know a lot about him, being at Billericay with him when they were there together.
Yep. Oh, now Bingham does get caught late by Rue Donaldson there, and
that's a yellow.
Lots of cries. If that's not a yellow, I'll eat my hat.
Slight problem, Mate. You haven't brought a hat with you.
I haven't bought a hat. I'll eat Dean's hat.
Should that be a yellow, as it was his first tackle?
Hang on a minute. It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable to give banter, if you like, or take the you-know-what out of the commentator, Dean. Otherwise, I won't invite you back. Well, Seb White, the media director, won't invite you back. He'll be listening into this. Seb, take note. No, that was a late tackle by Rue Donaldson, and that's actually a bit problematic for Hampton because Rue, I mean, obviously filling in at centre half, and you don't like to see your centre halves or any of your defenders for that matter be booked so early on. We're only 20 minutes in. That does sort of change things slightly, I think, for Rue. Well up by Farrell. Sam Deadfield. Time to get it down, but it's good, well pressured by Ebbsfleet, and Bingham with the ball here for. That's a good pass through, but Miller Rodney does very well to intercept. And that's a good strike by Adam, club captain for Ebbsfleet, Meckie, but the the Hampton defence do very well to block. And the ball is safely in the hands of Alan Julian for Hampton, who I don't think has done a bad kick in the entire time he's been with us. Hopefully that's not commentator's curse. Adebayo Rowling lets it go to Wood. Will Wood for Ebbsfleet. Cuts inside onto his left foot. Wood, that's a nice effort by Wood. It was dipping, but unfortunately it does sail comfortably over the bar. Alan Julian certainly didn't look in any shape or form worried about that ball going anywhere near his net. A reminder to everybody that is tuning in today, we're obviously doing this totally free of charge. It is the only elite level football game today that is being showing online, totally free. Hopefully you're enjoying the coverage. A lot of time and effort goes into this. If you are able to spare any money whatsoever, and it doesn't matter how much it is, because frankly every penny counts, especially in the current climate, hrbfc.live is the website to go to, and there is a donate button on there that will take you straight to the GoFundMe page. As I say, even if it's a quid, whatever, it really, really does help, and it goes a long way to help us to reinvest the funds to make the stream, or to continue to improve the stream, should I say. Jake Gray for Hampton. Phil Yett does well to get a foot in there, but it's and Paxman just loses his feet, and the ball does go through. I think he's offside. Yeah, Nico Muir's offside there. Good run through, but I think that's the second or third time now that I've seen a player lose their footing, and I don't think that's going to be the last, Rob.
I don't think it is.
Look, I mean, look right in front of us there. There is, there's the biggest chunk of pitch that's been sort of churned up there. I mean, this pitch is going to become more and more of an issue, I think, as we go on.
I mean, part of the problem is the more it gets churned up, the more bobbly the passes will get, and the less you'll be able to trust playing it on the ground. So, they might decide just to pick it up into the air a little. So, it could change the game as we go on.
Jordan Holmes with the kick up for Ebbsfleet. Paxman, well played by him, and the ball does go out for an Ebbsfleet throw-in. To be taken by Adebayo Rowling.
Just going back to when you say about trusting your keeper, you can clearly see that Ebbsfleet have full faith in the keeper to sweep, because they're keeping a high line, catching Nico offside, and when he is onside, the keeper's there to clear up the danger. So yeah, he's doing very well there, keeper.
Yeah, agreed, Dean. Bingham with a good ball in there for Ebbsfleet. The ball is in a dangerous position here, and it's in the Hampton penalty area. Paxman. Yeah, the ref's going to give that. That's I think that was a foul, but yeah, this is a free kick to Ebbsfleet in what I would suggest is a pretty dangerous position. Number 22, Ben Chapman, looks like he's primed to, although the ball has just been taken straight off him, as I say that, by Bobby Joe Taylor, but to me this looks like an in-swinger from a left footer would be best suited to this, but we shall see.
Yeah, it looks as if Taylor really fancies this one. But then again, I'm sure Chapman, might think about doing it right-footed on the other side of the wall, just to try and catch Alan Julian, because Julian will be expecting it to come round with the left footer. For Chapman to think about taking it right-footed.
It is Bobby Joe Taylor with a lofted ball in, but it's well dealt with by the Hampton defence, and Miller Rodney, he's nudged in the back there, I think. Yeah. The Ebbsfleet manager, let's just say he didn't agree with that decision.
No.
Who'd be a ref, eh?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that free kick was a bit of nothing, really. It was just a chip into the box. There was no great design on it. It was just.
I was surprised he opted to do that. To me, it looked like that needed a sort of a lower in-swinging sort of left foot whip in, but.
Yeah. And I think it would have been more dangerous, but that was, bread and butter, to the Hampton back four.
The way he set up, it looked like he was going to have a go at goal as well.
Yeah, it did.
Yes.
Ruddock with a good ball through, and Miller Rodney does very well to intercept there. This is a dangerous attack here for Hampton. Miller Rodney can get this right. Good ball out to Carvalho. Carvalho not got a huge amount of support, unfortunately, but he does, and the ball bobbles, and unfortunately for Hampton, that does give Ebbsfleet the opportunity to intercept, but the ball is back in Hampton possession. Donaldson, good ball across. Very, very good ball across. Villette just lose out and Ebbsfleet come away with the ball. Miller-Rodney once more.
Oh,
yeah, and
another bobble.
Another bobble. This pitch is gonna. Yeah, you may not have quite appreciated that on the stream, but that ball took an awful bobble there, and.
It's the kind of game I'd like to play in today because I'd have an excuse for my misplaced passes.
One thing I have noticed, and it's something that you did mention at the start, Dean, was the fact that Rue Donaldson's he is looking, composed in the centre back role. He's not panicking. He's not taking a chance. He's just doing what's there in front of him. He's looking good there.
Yeah, he's looking very assured. And the ball comes through. Oh, and it's whistled across. And let's just say Kyron Farrell meant to leave that. But that was a bit of a heart in mouth moment there because it was a good ball across, I must admit. But you can always tell by the reaction of the goalkeeper, and Alan Julian didn't look particularly phased. And the ball is out for a Hampton.
Just going back to Rue and how well he's playing, if he carries on, I might be here on a more permanent basis.
Yeah, we say it every week. It's amazing how so far this season we haven't had our, in inverted commas, first choice back four. I mean, Charlie Wassmer's been out for a long time, obviously since his injury against Hemel Hempstead. Led to believe he's not far off actually, which is good for.
Yeah, he trained Thursday for the first time fully. He done a bit on Tuesday and then trained fully Thursday. So hopefully it won't be long before.
Nico Muir for Hampton, and Nico Muir. It's a chance for Nico Muir and the ball, and it's a good save by Jordan Holmes.
Very good save. That bobbled up.
It bobbled up again. Yeah, Ebbsfleet break. End-to-end stuff here at the Beverley. Meckie. Ball goes out from Ebbsfleet throw. It did look like the ball bobbled, and it may have bobbled before Nico Muir tried to take the shot, and did take the shot, and I think it bobbled before the goalkeeper actually saved it. But opportunity for Hampton there.
I wonder would there be an Ian Walker moment here today?
Yeah,
that's a possibility.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, we all remember that one.
Yeah, remember it very well. And wasn't there a Tim Flowers moment as well when the ball didn't he go down and it bobbled straight over? Well played, Paxman and that's a very, very good block by Luke Ruddock. Good effort by Paxman there. Good block by the Hampton skipper. Ben Chapman with a long ball forward. Donaldson and Villette with the ball for Hampton. Miller-Rodney.
See, look at the keeper's starting position again.
Yeah,
it's
the keeper. You're right, Dean.
High.
He's very high up, isn't he?
He's swept up well today so far.
Paxman. Yeah, Paxman again for Ebbsfleet. Nice inside ball, but it's well cut out by Sam Cox. Adebayo Rowling. Wood. Adebayo Rowling. Well played, Ebbsfleet. Good move, and he's coming left-hand side. Nice knock. Paxman. No, it's not Paxman. Apologies. That was Meckie with the shot that was blocked. Here is Paxman. Adebayo Rowling. Wood. Nice ball, and it's come right across the goal. Opportunity for Ebbsfleet, Rob.
Yes, there was. That was a nice little period of pressure there. They were using this right-hand side very well. And the assuredness of the passing, even on this pitch, you can see that they've just got that little bit of something to allow them the confidence to, spin the ball from side to side. And Wood, for one, is starting to give Kyron Farrell a little bit of a problem or two. So again, that could be an interesting battle as the afternoon goes on down this side.
Yeah.
Just looking on at Gaffer there, he's calling for our midfield to get closer to Paxman because everything good for Ebbsfleet's going straight through Paxman. And
yeah. I mean we're half an hour in. I mean, would I be harsh in saying, from a Beavers standpoint anyway, that Ebbsfleet are winning the midfield, Dean?
Yeah, it is Jack Paxman.
He's running the show in there.
He's dictating the play, and
he is.
That's what Gaffer will want Sam Deadfield for us to be doing.
Villette, another good touch by Villette, and the ball knocks through, but the keeper does well to claim that, Jordan Holmes. two good keepers on show today, as we've mentioned a few times now. Adebayo Rowling for Ebbsfleet, striding forward. Will Wood cutting in on his left foot, as he has done so often this game. Alfie Egan for the visitors, back to Adebayo Rowling. Well, that's good play by Miller Rodney there.
They're just starting to get a hold, Ebbsfleet, of the game.
Yeah, it feels like it, doesn't it? The last 5 minutes, Ebbsfleet seem to have found their stride. They're, as I mentioned, they seem to be winning the midfield. Well, Paxman's running the show, there's no doubt about that. Wood's looking dangerous on the wing. The defence don't look too... I wouldn't necessarily say they've been rattled at all this game so far.
No, and just listening, you can hear Luke screaming for everyone to step and get up so you can get closer to the players in the other end of the pitch. It's because they just seem to be putting us on the back foot and making us drop quite deep at the minute.
One thing that I've noticed is the fact that we haven't yet mentioned Jake Gray too much, and that's a little bit of a worry. If he's not able to get involved with the game at the moment, then it basically means we've got a slight problem in the midfield as it is. It's
a very good point, Rob, because one of the things that Seb and I think you have said it as well in previous streams, Rob, is that when Sam Deadfield's not in the team, you really notice Jake Gray's performances. Not that they're worse, but he does a different role, and obviously Deadfield's back in today, and you need Jake. Jake, we all know what Jake Gray adds to the Hampton team. He's obviously a regular starter, but you're absolutely right. I mean, he's not done a lot so far.
I think it's possible by the fact he's having to play a bit of an outside role, because you've got Deadfield and Miller Rodney in the centre, and you've got Carvalho here on the left, so Jake Gray is having to sit out on the right-hand side.
And he's not necessarily an out-and-out winger, Jake Gray, that's for sure.
No, he isn't. He definitely prefers that midfield role, and at the moment, he's having to play in a position that he probably say is not his favourite. And as a consequence, we haven't spoken about him much. Hopefully, we can bring him into the game somewhere.
Cries from Gary McCann in the Hampton dugout to hold the ball. For those of you that may not have picked up on that on the stream. Adebayo Rowling with the throw-in for the Fleet. Ben Chapman. Karaman. All the way across to Bobby Joe Taylor. Miller Rodney deals with it, but the ball does go out, and Ebbsfleet certainly have got the upper hand here. You can tell by they've definitely got a spring in their step. There's no doubt about that. They're certainly playing football at a pace, but there's a misplaced pass there.
There's a commentator's curse right there.
By Ben Chapman. There you go. You should never say things like that when you're commentating, because it always backfires.
But no, they are looking very, very strong all the way through.
Miller Rodney. That's a nice ball across there. Luke Ruddock has done very well to intercept. I think he meant that when he kicked that ball out.
I'm surprised we haven't got the marine set up with the door numbers on the back of the netting, so we know where the ball's gone.
Yeah. I'm surprised myself, Dean. The number of footballs that have gone into the grounds of the school over there, it must be hundreds over the years.
I've probably headed a few of them.
I wasn't thinking about you heading them, Dean. But yeah,
some misplaced passes again.
Just one or two. But yeah, I mean, I know there is some down at the other end for the houses, down behind the home dugout. But I'm surprised there isn't much at that side. But anyway.
Corner kick for Ebbsfleet. Two hands go up from the corner kick taker. Usually that means either front post or back post, or indeed penalty spot. We shall see.
Paxman.
No, the referee flags for offside there. Yeah. Julian with a quick free kick, and he's misplaced that. unlucky from Ebbsfleet there. That was a good.
That's a warning, though, wasn't it?
It was a warning. I'm not
Big
sure.
warning.
I'm not sure the corner kick taker actually meant for the ball to. It almost like a bit of a misplaced. I'll say misplaced, but he certainly scuffed his kick.
I'm actually going to give him credit there. I think they've planned that.
Do you think they did?
I think they've planned that
There
because
you
you
go.
see the runner that had the first shot. He's
Bobby
come
Joe
from,
Taylor, I think,
he's come
across
from
and-
round the back into that position there.
Right.
So I do think they've planned that and worked on that, and it's almost paid off for them.
Yeah, it's well played from. I think was the shot. Was it Bingham who's? Yeah, it was Bingham's shot that I think went out
Yep.
for. That was disallowed, but another warning sign for the Beavers.
when you looked at the replay, you could see the fact that the Ebbsfleet player that came to the near post just wasn't picked up at all. You know, that was the problem. And you know, when you've got somebody running into that space just there where the ball's gone into it, you know, you got to accept the consequences sometimes. And you know, Hampton did get away with that one.
Donaldson, slightly scuffed clearance, and Mekki for Ebbsfleet. And Wilson Carvalho, yeah, he's just caught the back of his leg there. That is the correct decision from the man in black today, Michael Ryan. Another free kick to Ebbsfleet in what is another dangerous area. Hampton have been under the cosh, I think, for the last 10 minutes or so. We've got to get... The difficulty is getting the ball down is quite hard when you've got the pitch in such a state that it is. Not that it's... You know, clearly, we've done extremely well to get the game on today, but it is being churned up pretty catastrophically, it's fair to say.
This could be a game decided on set pieces.
Yeah. Good ball in, and that's well dealt with by the Hampton defence. Wilson Carvalho done very well there to get out, and Villette with a nice little clip that does get intercepted by the Ebbsfleet defender, and it goes out for a Hampton throw-in. .38 minutes on the clock. Hampton Richmond 0, Ebbsfleet United 0. Paxman for the visitors. Paxman striding forward, a really good run by Paxman, and he's been found out excellently there. Nice effort.
Again, it's going straight through Paxman all the time for Ebbsfleet.
Every time. He's definitely the danger man.
And at half time, I know what the Gaffer's team talk will be to lock down on Jack Paxman and try and nullify that threat, because it's causing us a lot of problems at the minute.
Yeah. Linesman looks like he's actually flagged for a free kick there for whatever reason. hrbfc.live for any much welcome donations for today's free live stream. As I say, hugely appreciated. Anything you can spare to help us to continue to provide what we think is a half decent service, and obviously stream. And every single penny that you do kindly donate will go back into helping us to reinvest to make sure that we keep up the quality of what we're able to put out on a Saturday and indeed a Tuesday night. I can sense a bit of unrest amongst the Beavers team. Nico Muir forward for Hampton.
That comes from because the players will be able to sense that Ebbsfleet are getting on top, and they're making it difficult for Hampton to get it down and play in the final third.
Yeah.
So a lot of frustration creeping in.
Muir, Cox. Back to Ruddock. Knocks it across to his centre half partner, Rue Donaldson, who did just get clipped there. Yeah, he did get clipped by Bingham. Much to his protest, there was definitely a clip there. And a little bit of respite for the Beavers to try to regroup and move on. I mean, it's obviously 0-0. I think, as I say, the last 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes have been, I wouldn't say one-way traffic, but there's definitely been Ebbsfleet definitely had the upper hand. But it's been a good game of football so far. Kyron Farrell with the free kick.
It is a shame that Seb's not here because it's a really fun game to comment on today.
Yeah, very fun game. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't think he'll ever live that one down. That was a comment and a half from Mr. White, the much loved Hampton and Richmond Borough media director. Sam Cox shaping up for a long throw by looks of things. And Ebbsfleet sniffed it out very well. And Jordan Holmes with a very good throw out to Will Wood. He comes in his left foot every single time, Will Wood, and he's done it so once again there. Alfie Egan. Adebayo Rowling. Nice cross. And that's... Oh, and wow. Rakesh Bingham come across. It looked like it was extremely... Well...
Good defending.
Was that Ruddock? I think it was Ruddock. Yeah, very good defending by Ruddock there too.
Captain Fantastic.
Yeah, he's a player that when he's fit, you would always have him on your team sheet. Surely.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go quite so far as to say he's probably the first name on the team sheet, but he's probably at least top 3.
Yeah. Dean Inman's number 1, obviously. Corner kick. Corner kick for Ebbsfleet. He's gone short. Good movement there by Wood. And Villette does excellently there. Villette is on the attack now for Hampton with a good ball forward for Nico Muir. Nico Muir held it up well. And it's well dealt with once more. Frustrating day for Nico Muir so far for me. Donaldson. Now, what game would not be complete then with Tracy Hathaway, the Hampton and Richmond Borough legend that she is, delivering a cup of coffee and some hot food whilst we're commentating.
And pleasantries
You can't see this, but the lifeblood of the football club is right in front of us, delivering tea and coffee and what looks like fajitas. Look at that. I won't tell you what she's doing, what else she's doing, but anyway. They're barbecue chicken wraps, even better. Muir, good ball through, and once again, Dean, you hit the nail straight on the head, but Holmes is sniffing out everything at the back there. He's
anytime it does get past them at the back, they've got a high line, but they trust it, and the keeper's proving why.
Chapman.
In many respects, it's a good job there isn't much wind this afternoon, because by the way Holmes is, playing that sweeping role, if there was any kind of breeze, any kind of, wind blowing the length of the pitch, he would be vulnerable to something like a Christian Smith special, from the halfway line or inside the Hampton half.
Alfie Egan. Good ball in, and again, it's well dealt with. To be fair, we defended very well this afternoon so far. We've Ebbsfleet have put in some very dangerous balls, Rob. They've had obviously many opportunities, but it's pretty. We've dealt with it very well, I think.
We have,
on the whole.
We have, yeah. And these first 45 minutes, and they're nearly over. We have looked very good defensively, but then again, we have all the way through the season. It's been one of the trademarks of our performance that we've defended very well.
Yeah.
So. It's been good. We're coming into the point of added time, and Gary will not be 100% happy with it being 0-0, but he will be quite happy with the fact they haven't conceded.
2 minutes of added time at the end of this first half. Slightly misplaced pass there by Sam Cox, a bit too hard. Once more, Jordan Holmes comes to collect for Ebbsfleet with a very, very good throw. Immediately, Ebbsfleet on the attack with Adebayo Rowling.
They've done that well. The keeper gets the ball and he looks for the right back all the time, and he gets out more times than not. And now they're straight on the attack.
Excellent play by Wood, and he's knocked the ball forward, and the ball ricochets off a Hampton player and almost sort of dribbles across the 6-yard box, but immediately the ball finds itself down the other end of the pitch. Nico Muir for Hampton and Richmond Borough. Villette striding forward. Deadfield striding forward. And the ball's not back. Jake Gray.
Oh, the bobble again.
Jake Gray, he's overrun it, and that's frustrating again. This is a bit of a frustrating performance so far, this first half. You can't take anything away from the fact that the opposition today in this first half, Ebbsfleet, have been very, very good. But there's been some frustrating moments for the Beavers, and I think Gary, to your point, Dean, Paxman needs dealing with if we're going to get anything out of this game in the second half. There's no doubt about that.
I mean, there's a case for actually seeing if they can find some way to get Jake Gray there into the centre to, sit close to Paxman, because that's the kind of role I think that Jake Gray could pull off very well.
Yep.
Throw in for the Beavers, Sam Cox, number 6 for Hampton, with a throw. That looked like a nudge to me, and the referee agrees and gives the foul to the visitors from Kent. How would you sum up the first half, Dean?
Like you say, quite frustrating. I think if you're the Ebbsfleet manager, you'll be the happier of the two, as it stands. And they'll probably feel a bit hard done by not to go in the lead. So I know Gary will get into the players at half time and hopefully come out and kind of put a bit more pressure in the final third.
And with that, the referee blows his whistle for the end of the first half. Hampton and Richmond Borough 0, Ebbsfleet United 0. An entertaining game, I think it's fair to say, and I think Dean's hit the nail on the head there. Certainly from my standpoint, I would say that Ebbsfleet had the upper hand on the whole throughout the first half. Some good opportunities. They will be feeling a little bit disappointed, I think, that they are not one to the good as they go in for the interval. But Hampton have defended pretty well. Rue Donaldson's looked good. You mentioned his qualities, Dean, at the beginning. I think he's shown what he's capable of at the back for Hampton. And we're saying about Ebbsfleet feeling perhaps a little bit aggrieved that not one up, but Alan Julian hasn't had an awful lot. Really.
No, and that's probably why the Ebbsfleet manager will be a bit disappointed, really, because for all the possession they've had and got into the dangerous areas, they've not really tested Jules in goal, other than the offside goal that they had. But they've not really forced him into making any saves. Yeah,
agreed. Rob, what are your thoughts?
Well, there's not a lot I can add to that. I mean, it's definitely been okay. If you're looking at the possession, you would think Ebbsfleet have, 55-45 possibly. They've definitely could put the Hampton back far under pressure, and as the two of you have quite rightly said, they've dealt with it very well. Of the once again, a makeshift back four in many respects, because it seems to have been a recurring theme throughout the season for Hampton. They've not had many games where you've had the likes of, Charlie Wasmer and Dean, or Luke and Charlie, or Luke and Dean. There's not been that many games where we've been able to put that central pairing out, and yet, defensively, we're as good as anybody in the league, and that's a credit.
I think going into today, we had the joint second best defence in the league.
Yeah, we did. We did. Yeah, exactly. At half time, very shortly, I'm going to be interviewing Steve Bates, our head of the Hampton Richmond Borough Academy. Before I do that, though, and we cut for a brief break, I have actually got a question from Seb White, our media director, to ask Dean for the funniest moment in a half-time team talk, given that the players are obviously doing just that right now. I'll put you on the spot, Dean. If you want to come back to me at the beginning of the second half, you're welcome to do that.
Funniest moment
in a half-time team talk is the question in your career. Just to clarify from Seb White.
I mean, it's funny looking back at it, but it weren't at the time. I'd say it was probably Hazen Yedding when the manager had one of our players up by the throat in the shower room. So that was probably, looking back at it, it's quite funny. But at the time, I was quite scared. I was only young at the time.
Fantastic.
But I would suggest, if Steve Bates is coming on now, if you're going to make a cup of tea, I'd go now so you can miss it.
Yeah.
Because you'll be very, very bored.
Excellent. Yeah. Right, anyway, on that note, I can assure you that Mr. Bates is far from boring. But in truth, we're going to just quickly go for a quick break for a little while, and then we're going to come straight back, and I'm going to interview Steve for 5 minutes, and then we're going to crack on for the second half in this enthralling encounter so far. Thanks for listening in so far. We'll be back with you very, very shortly.
We tell stories that matter.
You're listening to
We know what makes fans tick.
The whole team is supported by the whole town.
We know it's about dedication, about history, about community. Here, there, and everywhere.
It's going down.
Sometimes it's about boots. Sometimes it's about clothes. And sometimes it's just about getting away. We know what they watch. We know where they go. We know what they love. We know it's not always easy connecting with fans, but we know it's not always easy connecting with fans, but we know how to help. And we know because that's what we are, fans.
Spot, we shall see. Steve Bates, manager of the Hampton and Richmond Borough Academy. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Oh no, thank you very much for letting me come on.
You're very welcome. Views on the first half. We spent a minute or two with Dean discussing it as the players walking off the pitch. Interested in your views?
Well, I think if I was Dean, I'd be kicking Rue at training because I could see Dean not getting back in the side. I thought Rue's been one of the standout players on the park.
Yeah,
I think they just slightly got on top in midfield, and I'm sure Gary will make some adjustments to counteract that. And it got 3 or 4 crosses in our box through the half, which I would like to have seen us do at the other end. That said, I think Nico's is a very good chance. I'm not sure the goalkeeper knew too much about it.
Bit of a bobble, I think.
A bit of a bobble and a bit of a deflection. You know, keeper did great to save it. I think on maybe a less heavier pitch, and the groundsman's done unbelievably well to get it on. Actually, unbelievably well. You know, the work that's gone into it's amazing. But yeah, I think if a slightly faster pitch, Nico just rolls that in the bottom corner. But yeah, pretty even. Listen, we haven't played for 2 weeks, is it? 14, 15 days.
Yeah.
So I think that will just wake the boys up in the second half. I'm expecting them and quite confident they can come out and get the win, really. Yeah.
It's interesting you say about the midfield, because one of the things that, the three of us that were commentating in the first half was Paxman. The F Street number, I think he's 21, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 21 and 24 have been excellent in our.
They won F Street won the midfield in that first half. There's no doubt about that in my view. I don't know whether your view was the same, but feels like we need to do something in there to tighten up.
I think it's been a bit tricky, really, because Gary plays with a high pressing team. It's in his nature. He wants teams to be on the front foot, and it's one of the great things and the saddest thing that the crowd's not here, because some of it this season's been exceptional. And I think that there's going to be a risk with that. So their goalkeeper's delivery out of his hands, certainly onto this right-sided fullback, has given Wilson a real problem, because he's caught, between 6 and 2 threes.
Yeah.
But so then one of the midfielders has to come out into the wide area, and I think they're getting overloaded. So I'm sure Gary will just adjust that, and I think just stop that. And it's only really a matter of distances, not getting too close to the centre half, and just to stop in the first phase, really. But as I say, Gary's a bright manager, and he'll work that out.
Yeah, no, I agree. Anyway, going on to the academy, Steve. As I mentioned, you're the well, I'll refer to you as the manager of the.
We manage the teams. There's a few of the guys that manage the teams in that respect, but no, we're a manager academy. We're going from. I think success. Sorry, puts his teeth back in.
Yeah, easy for you to say,
success.
yeah.
Yes. You know, we're strong this year in our numbers. Where our education is going forwards. You know, we're really good. And unfortunately, this COVID's going to take a little wind out of our sails. And I think. Hence why maybe I'm having this chat that, you know, just to let people know that we are still recruiting.
I was going to say that because we've got 600 odd people watching live now. In a 20-second nutshell, you know, I suppose two questions. What is the academy all about, and how important is it? You know, how important is it to recruit right? You know.
Well, in an ideal world, recruitment is the key. I mean, look, we study an extended diploma in sport and exercise, which equates to 3 A levels. So the education is right up there. Exit routes to American university scholarships, English university scholarships, into the first team, into other lower league teams. And then the football we play, we play at the highest standard outside of the professional leagues, because this Academy National League that they've set up is, I mean, it's a younger version of what we're seeing out here. And for anybody that hasn't been to one of these games, the quality is very, very high. I think non-league football is quite underrated.
It's massive. I mean, you've only got to look at the state of the pitch. And these players have not. It's not really phased them. No. I mean, clearly there's been some lost footing and things like that, but it's not phased them. And,
no, it hasn't. We had a discussion at training on Thursday. Going back to that, and I was talking with Sam Cox, who, you know, he's a great font of knowledge. He works at Tottenham. He's had a great sort of football career in all of that sort of stuff. And we were talking about the grounding. I would suggest, certainly with the Ebbsfleet side and certainly with our side, I bet 65% of these boys have played probably to scholar level in professional environments. I stand to be corrected, but my sense is the quality is very, very high.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But back to the academy, I think, Matt.
Yeah,
no, sorry.
We both
just
like a chat, which probably isn't that good, really,
and I was just watching the boys in the warm-up as well. But so we're still recruiting in the academy. So if you're year 11 or year 12, there'll be some stuff going up on the website, presentations and a prospectus to show you the course. If you can play football, then brilliant. If you really want to push on, the boys get to train with the first team when Gary needs support on numbers, to manage around all of that sort of stuff. They train 3 times a week and they play games Wednesday afternoons or one evening in the week. It is basically that. It's an education program, so essentially the boys study either in the morning or the afternoon, depending which year group, and then training is at lunchtime. That could all change.
It's a full-time
It's a full-time course, full-time education, full-time football course. As I say, exit routes to the senior team and beyond.
Well, we've seen Imran Uchi, David
Amate, Joe Watton. We've got a number of boys out on loan pre-COVID. Some slightly lower league ones getting senior experience. Charlie Jaggers, Jamie Hope. Guys that I think when we have in-house practice games, Gary brings them back in to monitor them. Gary's very, very interested.
He's certainly an advocate of the academy,
he is. And you know, so sometimes a step maybe from under 18s, under 19s football into the first team might take a year longer. So if you look at Imran, went and got some men's experience, just a little bit more learning. But it's a really good environment, and you know, look, as we saw today, and going back to the groundsman and the people that are out there, the club secretary and the COVID, you know, everybody's out on the pitch, and it's such a great community place.
That's
we've just been furnished with cakes by Tracy. And listen,
I'm desperate to tuck in.
Well, listen,
this is like torture.
When the boys arrive for lessons at 9:30 on a Monday morning, after there's a knock on the door, and she says, "I've baked these cakes with the boys like them for after training." And I'm not sure there's many academies that can do that.
It's a truly unique club, and
it is.
And the fact that we've got the academy is unique in itself as well for this level of football.
Yeah, it is. I mean, most of these National League sides now, they're knocking on the door to get into there. We were one of the first clubs in it. And the standard is as I say, it's frighteningly good. I've been for 10 years managing the teams here. And I've got to say, you know, we've got to improve on the football field. We want to improve on the football field.
Yeah.
But we've got, let's say, a year group 1 of 28, and we've got some good young boys in there. We took a decision this year to try to grow and develop those boys, and we sat down with them and explained that there might be some bumps in the road along the way now, and we might have to take a bit of pain, but we would learn from it. And it's such a shame that they're learning on the football fields particularly, but they've all gone away now through this COVID. They've got individual plans. We work on analysis. They all get set a program, Zoom calls, video stuff that we do. So they're still training 3 times a week. If you follow us on Instagram. But as I say, early next week we're going to get some stuff on the website that people can please look at. Year 11, year 12 boys that want to play football.
So if you're interested, if you're listening in and you're interested, or
know someone that is,
So how do fans sort of spread the word? Because obviously you've got people listening now, and you've got loads of fans that
listen through the social media. The channels would be great. Just letting their cousins, their nephews, their sons, their daughters, whichever it may well be, anyone as a manager of a team that's under 16 at present. We've got great support from the club. Just the last bit on that. We will start as soon as we're allowed to, and I think by spring we'll be allowed to play some football. The club are going to start a development centre, which is really exciting news, and hopefully that will feed in. So just watch your space. The email for any questions really is regarding the academy, I should say.
Make that clear.
Is academy.manager@hamptonfc.net. That's academy.manager@hamptonfc.net, and drop an email, and if you've got somebody that may be interested, we'd look forward to hearing from you. And as I say, we will get back out on the football field soon.
Great, Steve.
Thanks very much.
Brilliant
Matt.
stuff.
Cheers,
Thanks
mate.
ever so much for
Thank
joining
you.
us, Steve.
Enjoy the second half, and come on, you Beavers.
Come on, you Beavers. Thanks, Steve. Really appreciated. We're going to just quickly pop to a break, and we're going to join the players that just coming out onto the pitch now for the second half. So we're going to go for a quick break, and then we'll be with you in about 30 seconds for the live coverage of the second half, Hampton Richmond Borough versus Ebbsfleet. Welcome back to the Chris Sweet Beverley for the second half of this National League South encounter between Hampton and Richmond Borough and Ebbsfleet United. Quick recap of the starting 11s for both sides. Hampton and Richmond Borough, number 1 Alan Julian, number 2 Luke Ruddock, number 3 Rue Donaldson, number 6 Sam Cox, number 7 Wilson Carvalho, 8 Sam Deadfield, 10 Jake Gray, 12 Nico Muir, 17 Miller Rodney, 18 Kyron Farrell, and 22 Mauro Vilhet. For the visitors, number 12 Jordan Holmes, number 2 Toby Adebayo Rowling, number 3 Bobby Joe Taylor, 4 Sefa Karaman, number 7 Captain Adam Mecki, number 9 Rakesh Bingham, number 16 Will Wood, 18 Alfie Egan, 21 Jack Paxman, 22 Ben Chapman, and 24 Chris Solly. The Ebbsfleet players already on the pitch, just waiting for the Beavers to emerge from the dressing room. But yeah, it was interesting views from Steve Bates, the academy manager, during the interview I've just had with Steve around. I mean, he shared much of the same views as us in terms of the midfield and everything else, but much as we did, Dean. Rue Donaldson's performance at the back for Hampton, clearly, he's taken your position that you vacated, but what you want it's all about having a depth of quality in your squad if you're going to challenge for the playoff positions, or indeed even more. And we've shown that today with Rue at the back there alongside Luke Ruddock.
Injuries and suspensions, and players can easily come in and fill in them positions quite comfortably, and Rue's done very well today.
What do you think Gary said, Dean? If you're in that changing room now, what's he said, and what are we going to do? We being Hampton, obviously.
Lockdown on Paxman.
Yeah.
Stop the keeper's service to the right back when he gets out, because he looks very dangerous getting out and getting down the right. It would probably, a lot of it would have been around kind of locking down Paxman and not letting him control the play the way he has done, and go from there.
Yeah, agreed. Rob, what do you think? What do you think we've got to do to? I mean, obviously we focused on Paxman, but we've not, if I'm not mistaken, we've not had any. Well, certainly not a huge number of shots on target. I mean, Gary's going to be wanting to address that surely for the second half. But we've got to get the ball up there first of all, because certainly there's many sort of periods of the first half where the ball was in our half. We've got a lot to do, I think.
I think we have, and I mean, one thing that comes out of the stats quite clearly is the fact that we didn't win a corner in that first half. We didn't win a corner. Yeah, it's equal on shots. A couple of shots each on target, but it's that's what we've got to start working in the midfield. We've got to again start.
Yeah.
Basically, just start getting the ball down and starting to do something with it, and try and shut out Paxman at the same time, which is going to be easier said than done.
I think if it carries on the way it's going, Gaffer might even look to get someone like Nathan Minas on, or Fisher, that can have the pace to run in behind and try and ask them a few more questions that we haven't in the first half.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this game plays out in the next 15-20 minutes, and what the respective managers do with regards to substitutions. As you say, we've got some quite dangerous players on the bench, but as I say that, Ebbsfleet are on the attack, and it's wood for Ebbsfleet, but it's good defending again by Hampton, I think we've defended very, very well today, I must say, in the face of what's been some very good attacking play from Ebbsfleet. Wilson Carvalho doing very well for Hampton on the far side, and Rue Donaldson with the ball at his feet for the Beavers, across to his centre-half partner, Luke Ruddock, with a bit of a wild ball up top, and once more the Ebbsfleet goalkeeper, Jordan Holmes, right at the edge of his box to collect.
That's where someone like Fisher or Minas might be able to kind of get a few rewards with their pace in behind, and maybe get on the end of a ball like that.
Interestingly, it looks like, I might have got this wrong actually, but it looks like Jake Gray might be playing a bit more central, Rob, in this. If I'm looking at how the Beavers are lined up, there's no substitutions, by the way, for either side, if anybody was wondering. So it's as we were for the start of the second half. But it looks to me like Jake Gray, the Hampton number 10, might have come inside a little bit. So watch this space on that front to see whether that does change the dynamics of Hampton's play. But
yeah, it does. It looks like he's moved Sam Deadfield out of a more wide position and brought Jake in to, like...
Vilhet for Hampton. And he cuts the ball back, and it's well dealt with by Ebbsfleet.
Yeah, like Rob was saying in the first half, bringing Jake Gray in just to kind of follow Paxman around and try and stop him being...
Yeah, I wouldn't say Jake was ineffective in the first half, but he didn't... he wasn't involved in as much of the play as I think we would want him to be.
Yep.
So, yeah, we've sort of called that one right, as it were, because... Gary definitely has made that tactical change to try to bring Jake Gray into the game a bit more, seemingly. Nico Muir, good hold-up play. Deadfield, nice ball through. Kyron Farrell, and it's well defended by the Ebbsfleet right back. And it did, unfortunately for Hampton, deflect off of Kyron Farrell, and the ball does go out for
as you can see already,
Ebbsfleet goal kick.
Deadfield's much better at kind of drifting across the line. And it's more natural to him than with Jake. He's more of a natural central midfielder, and already you can see the difference in how they're both playing.
Yeah. A reminder to everybody: this is a free stream, and our aim is to continue for this to be a free stream, and all future free streams, obviously. And therefore, every penny that you can donate to the cause. Clearly, every club is in. I say dire need of funds, clearly, but we're in exceptional circumstances right now, and every penny really does truly count. And as I say, every penny raised through this service will be reinvested into the club. hrbfc.live, and click on the donate button. Every penny, pound truly does help I do believe, actually, looking at half-time, I do believe we had a rather large donation from a viewer from who was viewing from Richmond in America, would you believe? So thank you very much for your kind contribution, and great to see you tuning in to your namesakes in the UK here.
I just hope Andrew Inman's got his credit card out and he's donated a substantial amount as well.
Wood, and it's a misplaced. Unfortunately for Wood, the ball did bobble. And as I predicted at the beginning of this game, we are going to see quite a lot of that. Sorry, Dean, who was that? Was that your...
Yeah, my dad. He's normally quite tight when it comes to spending a bit of money, so hopefully he's donated a fair bit.
Mr. Inman Senior, if you are listening in, which I'm sure you are, we look forward to seeing your donation. Sam Cox with the throw-in for the Beavers. It's well dealt with by Adam Meckie. Cox up there, looked like a bit of a nudge to me, but that's a short pass by Jake Gray. And Alfie Egan with opportunity, but Kyron Farrell does very well there to cover. Kyron Farrell, Dean. Steady, strong left back, made that position his own. I mean, the departure of Rene Steer early in the season says it all. Yeah, big fan of Kyron. Is he a favourite amongst the ranks?
Yeah, he's a good lad. He's got a hell of a left foot as well, as you've seen on numerous occasions already this year, and he's very quick and he's a very good left back at this level.
Deadfield just tried to switch play there with his weaker foot, and unfortunately for Hampton it was cut out by the Ebbsfleet defender. Jake Gray, good start for the Beavers this second half. Seems to have a bit more oomph in the game. Certainly playing at a slightly faster pace than we were in the first half, which is good to see. Jake Gray has been on the ball an awful lot in this first half, but unfortunately for Jake Gray, he misplaces his pass through, and it's an opportunity for Ebbsfleet to take stock, reposition, and go. You
can already see he's much more comfortable on the ball in that more central position.
Yeah, he does. I completely agree with that.
I mean, he's already had more of the ball in just the 5-6 minutes we've had of this second half than what he actually had in most of the first. So he could well be the influence in the centre that the Beavers need.
Yeah. Bingham with a strike, and there's a strong tackle there. Adebayo Rowling, number 2 for Ebbsfleet with the ball, and it's whipped through, and it's whistled past Alan Julian's near side post. Good effort there by, I didn't actually catch who that was for Ebbsfleet, but that's a dangerous moment there for the Beavers.
Yeah, it was. There was the white shirt there that was just had enough time and space to try and flick a shot round the corner, and thankfully it wasn't on target. But I think even if it was, Jules would have had it covered. But that's a bit of a warning there for the Beavers. That.
Rue Donaldson in there again. Bobby Joe Taylor with the throw-in for Ebbsfleet United. Hampton and Richmond 0, Ebbsfleet 0. Kyron Farrell comfortably dealing with it for Hampton, and Alan Julian with a nice kick up top with Wilson Carvalho under it. Slightly heavy touch from Carvalho, and the ball does go, and it's well defended again. It's a slight pullback there on the shirt, and I think the referee got that one right, and it's a free kick for the Beavers.
Yeah, good tracking from Tyrell there. He see the run early, and he saw the danger and tracked him, and then winning the free kick. And again, it just relieves that pressure off the defence and lets you get up the field and mount an attack of our own. He
plays an important role. I think when Miller Rodney has a good game, you can really sort of tell the impact that it has on some of the other players, in particular in the midfield. The pitch looking heavier by the minute, it has to be said, but in fairness to the players, semi-professionals, and they are dealing with it admirably. And good strength by Nico Muir at top Hampton, and he pulls the ball back, and it's well picked up, and it's Nico Muir Villette with the shot, and it's well saved by Jordan Holmes. And that's a foul. Well,
I have to admit that was a good chance there for the Beavers, and Villette showed exactly what he's capable of. And that shot did need saving, because it was just one of those that, if Holmes hadn't got near it, that was 1-0.
One thing we are going to try to do when we can get a bit of a breather in amongst the play is to go through some of the other scores which we neglected to do at half-time across the other National League South games. So we'll do that very shortly. Although, to be fair, most of you listening in, watching in, should I say, will, I'm sure, have the #1 football score app on your phone. That is obviously FOTMob. Those of you that haven't got the FOTMob app should definitely get it. It's certainly the best one out there. And they're obviously Hampton Richmond sponsor, of course. Luke Ruddock striding out, knocks the ball. Unfortunately, that's going to go out for an Ebbsfleet throw. But a real opportunity for Hampton there, Dean. It was a good. I think it was.
Yeah,
Villette
I'm not sure if it was a save or a defender's
No, it's
foot.
quite hard to see from here, wasn't it?
But it was a great chance. Nico's done unbelievable down the right. Showed his strength, and
I love that part of his play.
Goal. Yeah, he does it very well.
Once we get a break in play, Rob, eventually we will go through those scores. It's a good ball by Jake Gray. Very, very good ball by Jake Gray to Wilson Carvalho on the far side for Hampton and Richmond. Carvalho on his right foot. Nice cross. Slightly overhit. And unfortunately, Sam Deadfield just tries to keep that in. Well, we will just quickly have a canter through the scores, Rob.
Yeah, just quickly. It's Billericay 1, Dulwich 0. It's 1 apiece between Dartford and Hungerford. Haventon Waterlooville against Eastbourne is 1-1, and Slough Town are leading 2-1 against Braintree, which basically means the top 10 is unchanged.
There you go. 55 minutes on the clock here at the Chris Sweet Beverley in southwest London. Thankfully, it's not raining, because I think any more rain than this pitch would have been unplayable. But as I keep mentioning, it is an incredibly, well, let's just say soft and boggy is probably 2 words that I would use. But you can hear the squelches as the players are running, and unfortunately, it's only going to get worse. But it's holding up quite well so far. But Villette for Hampton. That's a foul. Lucky not to be a yellow, I would say. He's had a number of fouls given against him, and I wouldn't necessarily say that it was. No, the referees. Yeah, I mean there are cries for a yellow card from the opposition bench,
yep.
Which I never really like to. Well, from any bench, actually. In fairness,
and it wasn't his first tackle either.
No. No, here we go. He's done it again. This is the last time, Seb White, if you're listening in. Well, in fact, he will be watching in. That we invite Dean Inman onto this. Oh, and Luke knew what he was doing there. Luke Ruddock, and it's a good header back.
Actually, Matt, I think we ought to get Dean back whenever he's available.
Well, let's hope he's not, because I'd rather Dean was out there playing, as I'm sure every fellow Beaver would. Luke Ruddock, long ball up. Some mild confusion there at the back, and Miller Rodney looks like he's handled that. Yeah, he has. Referee's given a foul. Quickly taken by Ebbsfleet. Well read by Farrell, but well won back by Ebbsfleet. Egan. You know, one name I haven't said very often this second half so far, and that's Paxman.
Yeah, again, it just shows that what the move that Gaffer's done is already kind of keeping him quiet, and Jake seems to be following him around quite a bit and kind of stopping him having such an influence.
Yeah. Luke Ruddock, well played Luke Ruddock. Doing what he does best at the back there. Strength, composure, winning the header, relieving the pressure. Adebayo Rowling on the wing for Ebbsfleet. Looks forward to Wood, and Wood with a shot, and Julian. I think we mentioned it in the first half, Dean. A lot of players going through Adebayo Rowling, the Ebbsfleet number 2. I think he's playing. Yeah, he's the right back.
Yeah, he's having a good game, and the keeper looks for him every time he's on the ball. He looks for him.
He's a real outlet for them, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's certainly more plays going via him. That's well won by Bobby Joe Taylor at the back for Ebbsfleet, and again well won there. Sam Cox, good tackle by Cox. Villette does extremely well there, Villette, and he's and that's fantastic play, but he's just got that pass wrong, Vilhet. I will get his name right in a minute, but Nico Muir, the ball breaks. Chance for Hampton, and the foul, and it's on the edge of the box. And in fairness to Karaman, I think he's gone for the ball. I mean, I'm going to ask for Dean's view on that. I mean, he's obviously a centre half. He's got to go for that tackle.
Yeah, Nico does it very well. He kind of feigns to go down the line, and he's kind of sucked the defender in well there. And yeah, it's a yellow card. On a side note, I've just had a text from my dad that he's kindly donated again.
Good on him. That's what I like to hear. It's a Hampton free kick, and it's fair to say, Rob, that the first 15 minutes of this second half, Hampton have been the better side.
Yeah, and it could just be that simple change of bringing Jake Gray into the centre that's done it. We've definitely looked better in midfield.
Deadfield, nice ball in, but it's very well defended by, I've said very well defended quite a lot this game. And again, it's a nice ball through, but the referee's assistant does flag for an offside. I think both sets of defence have done well. I think it's fair to say this game so far would be my view.
It's been a battle of the defences so far, and I said to Jack's the chairman at half time, this game could easily come down to a mistake or a slip, and it'd be like Rob said before the game, a 1-0 scoreline.
I mean, when you look at both teams, they've got a good record for being a bit frugal at the back, and neither of them have also.
That's a very good ball by Taylor through to Jack Paxman. And he weaves in and out. Paxman knocks ball across, and it's an excellent block from the Hampton defender. That was a fantastic ball through there by Taylor, and excellent play by Paxman.
I mean, that was just one of those exquisite balls that you hope your players could make, and it just opened up the Hampton back four completely, and Paxman was just left with so much space, and unfortunately he just couldn't make anything of it.
Paxman does an excellent ball through there. He really has played well today, Paxman, and oh well, that was a fantastic opportunity, and it looked like that was a fantastic covering tackle by, I think it was Sam Cox.
Yeah, the ref's given a corner, so it must.
The
have
ref's
been
given a corner. It looked
clearance.
like Cox has got his. We are, I think, seeing a replay. I think Sam Cox, if I've got that correct, Sam Cox has made an absolutely unbelievable last-ditch tackle at the back post there.
It looked for all the money that the net was about to bulge there, didn't it?
I have to admit that was going to be my first reaction, seeing the ball in the back of the net, but just goes to show Coxie, you can just never give up on him.
Ebbsfleet certainly gone up a gear the last couple of minutes, it's fair to say. Paxman starting to get into the second half as he ended the first half. Yeah, they've gone for that short corner on the floor.
Yeah,
you said that, Dean, in the first half. That's definitely planned. Yeah. It's well marshalled out there, but I think that might go out. It has gone for a corner.
Watching their corners, you can see they've worked on a lot of different set pieces, because they've had a few now where they've mixed it up with very different corners to normal.
And that ball's gone. Much to the relief of the Hampton players, that ball has gone way too far, and it goes out for a Hampton goal kick. Views on the first half so far, Rob?
Well, this 15 minutes of the second half, I mean, Hampton.
Sorry, second half so far. You should have called me out on that. Second half so far.
Too generous to you, Matt. I'm too generous.
Sorry.
This first 15 minutes, it's, Hampton had a good spell in the first 10 minutes, and then in the last 5 minutes, Ebbsfleet to have, I won't say stem the flow, but they've definitely come back into it. But I still think, Jake Gray in the centre could be the pivot around which game turns.
That's well played by Sefa Karaman at the back. He's looked quite strong, the Ebbsfleet number 4. Yeah, the ref's going to give that every time, unfortunately. Sam Deadfield has played for that, it has to be said. And, he's positioned his body in such a way that he's drawn in the foul. And the referee has given it, and it is a free kick to the Beavers.
There was a very high-pitched scream from Coxie for the ball there. Which,
I don't think he meant that.
No, I don't think he did.
Sam Deadfield.
Game's very end-to-end now. It's on a knife edge, isn't it?
It is.
I think you're right, Dean. It could come just down to one error, one small mistake, and one little blip to sort this game out.
That's a nice ball through, actually, from Sam Deadfield. I didn't expect that, but Nico Muir's done very well to get that ball in, but it's well sniffed out there by the number 9, Bingham. And that looked like a foul, yeah. Miller Rodney is going to be booked for that, Miller Rodney. And I have to say, Rakesh Bingham he's down right in front of us, right in front. Oh no, he's up, that's fine. For a minute there, I thought that might have been a bit more serious for Bingham. I didn't want to scare any Ebbsfleet fans that are watching this, but he did go down and hold his groin. But he's got up a little bit gingerly, but he does seem to be okay. But referee books Miller Rodney for that tackle. Bit of a harsh yellow, perhaps.
It may have been as a result of others previously as well.
Paxman again.
Well watched by Luke Ruddock.
Taylor. Paxman. Yeah, he's done well there.
My heart was in my mouth there when I see Ty running in straight after a yellow card.
Yeah. Chapman striding forward, but he's knocked the ball out. I'm struggling to see who that is, but we are back with Chapman. The ball goes out for an Ebbsfleet throw. 65 on the clock, Dean. When do you think either manager might be considering making a substitution? Is this about the time that you expect?
It's normally like you watch any game of football, and it's normally the 65, 70 minutes that they make the changes to try and either go on and win the game or hold out for what they've got. But no, listen to Gaffer's team talk. He's definitely going for the win today, so it wouldn't surprise me. Looks like Fisher's actually getting ready to come on.
You've got Fisher and Minas are the obvious candidates to come on, right?
Yeah, it looks like Fisher's getting his shirt on now, just as we speak.
Yeah, you're right.
So that would suggest it might be Mauro Villette that gets substituted. And let's not forget
either him or Carvalho would be my.
If you think Mars hasn't played that many games in the last few weeks, he's not played too many. Yes, he's been at training, but he hasn't played many. So may just need a bit of help with the match fitness.
Alan Julian. I'll tell you who hasn't put a foot wrong today so far, Luke Ruddock. He's dealt with everything at the back. Literally everything that's been thrown at him, Luke Ruddock has dealt with. And here he is with the ball at his feet. He's won pretty much every header. He's not looked phased at all, Luke Ruddock, which is what you want from your captain.
Yep.
There's a break on now for Ebbsfleet, and it is the man Paxman once more, but it's well cut out by Rue Donaldson. But Paxman, the last 5-10 minutes, he's just finding his stride, Paxman, and he's more and more the plays going through him. As I speak, there is a foul given away by Carvalho, and it's a free kick for Ebbsfleet, who, despite Hampton having the lion's share of the possession the first 10 minutes of the second half, I think it's fair to say that the pendulum has swung a little bit, and Ebbsfleet are now gradually getting the upper hand in this game.
It's a similar story to the first half, isn't it? We started bright in the first half, and then Ebbsfleet kind of took over, and it's happening again in the second.
A reminder, hrbfc.live, click on the donate button for any donations that you wish to make for this free stream and all future streams. Clearly, we will be reinvesting everything back into the club. And there's a nice ball across, and it's
Rue Donaldson again.
It's Rue Donaldson again at the back.
I think I will be sitting here for a few more games to come,
Yeah, you're positioned under threat, I'm afraid to say. Carvalho. That's a nice ball, and it's gone to Villette, and he's dinked it across Villette, and what a finish by the Hampton debutant. What a goal from Hampton, and Mauro Villette with a composed finish for Hampton. Slightly fortuitous ball through when it's sort of gone underneath the defender, but what a goal. 1-0 to Hampton.
I've had to stop myself from cheering there in a bid to try and stay kind of fair, but no, it was a great finish, and it was going back to what I said with Rob. It was a mistake that's kind of come for the goal. The ball's got played over and it's gone under I think it was the left back's foot, and Mauro was there to latch onto it, and what a great finish that was.
I have to agree, Dean. I mean, you look at the composure there. The keeper was coming out towards him. Yeah, Jordan Holmes, trying to narrow the angle, trying to come back into it. And the calmness, the composure there to just lift it. He didn't lift it much, 2 or 3 feet. And, just bounced into the back of the net all the time in the world. That's a good finish.
Yep, great.
To have that composure.
Yeah.
You're a debutant. You've come into the team.
Yep.
You're through on goal, and there's a lot of players that would have gone for power or just tried to slot that, but he's dinked that with.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that's as good a finish as you're going to see.
Yeah, it just shows you the confidence of him. And to be fair, even in training, he's finishing very similar to that on Thursday night in training. So. Yeah, it was a great goal. It'd be interesting to see if he was going to be the man coming off.
Well, it's funny you say that because obviously an immediate retaliation to this, we are seeing an absolute substitution now, and I think I'm right in saying that's Alex. Who's that coming on? Is that 17 coming on there, Rob?
No, it looks like I had it down as number 14.
Yeah,
Iffy
14.
Allen
coming
on for Alfie Egan.
And I think there's another substitution.
17
for 16. Yeah, Will Wood's going off.
Yeah, and so that's Alec Irish coming on, replacing number 16 Will Wood. Now that's significant because Wood's been a bit of a danger playing in front of Adebayo rolling. If the right back's had the ball, he's always looked down the line for Wood. To take him out and bring him onto the bench means this is a big change for Ebbsfleet, and it looks as if Hampton are going to make a change at the same time.
Yeah, they are, and as I thought, it is Wilson Carvalho who's coming off for the Beavers to be replaced by number 15 David Fisher. That's a like-for-like replacement there from Gary. That is I think what I would have expected to have seen. I mean, you're not going to your point, Dean. I wonder whether it might have been Mauro who was perhaps ready to come off, but he has had a very good performance, and I think Carvalho's had a half decent game on the wing, but David Fisher he's got bags of potential. There's no
just
doubt
bundle
about
of
that.
energy as well. He'll get up and down. And
Hampton and Richmond 1, Ebbsfleet United 0 at the Chris Sweet Beverley. 20 minutes to go in this National League South fixture. It's been a really good game of football so far, and it's substitute Allen, and it's a great stop by, yes, you've guessed it, Alan Julian. Iffy Allen on the wing there for Ebbsfleet, the substitute. Done very well there to cut in, and, well, Alan Julian, I think it's fair to say, Dean, we spoke about him pre-game, does what he does best. He is one of the best, if not the best goalkeepers at this level, and he's just gone to show there how good he really is.
We have a little private joke, and I always call him the flying cat. And any kind of thing that happens, I always send him a GIF on WhatsApp of a cat flying across the air, and there's a reason why.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, it couldn't have been an easy sight of it for him because it came pretty much round Sam Cox. Sam Cox was there doing his defensive role on the shot. He would have lost that fraction of a second to get a sight of it, and he still managed to get his right hand up to push it away.
Bobby Joe Taylor with another good ball through to Iffy Allen for Ebbsfleet. Iffy Allen's looked very sharp since he's been on the pitch. Nice ball back to Bobby Joe Taylor for the Fleet, and it's well cut out once more by the Hampton defence. And Nico Muir's looking to protect the ball here, but it's good defending by Karaman. Phil Het.
Just
Bit of a bobble once more. And that's good pressure there by, is that Sam Deadfield? Yeah, forcing the error.
And that's what we can't do now. We've got the goal. We can't just sit back and try and defend it and see it out because it'll undo us.
Yeah.
We need to keep the pressure on up the other end of the pitch, and like that, Fisher and Sam Deadfield chasing him right down into the corner.
Throw in for the Beavers. Sam Cox on the right-hand side here. Slight nudge in the back, but Phil Het does get back up. Apologies for the pronunciation. It's Villette, I think, isn't it, Rob? We did get briefed on the pronunciation, but
yes, we
keep
did.
referring to my crib sheet, and the way that Mauro's surname is spelt is with a H, but it's Villette. Mauro Villette, the goal scorer for Hampton, the debutant, number 22, had a very, very good game, I think it's fair to say, and what a finish from him. It puts Beavers in the lead. Nice ball through, and Muir does try to get on that, but yeah, it's very good defending there by Ben Chapman, I think that was, who the number 22 for, in fact, both number 22s for both sides have had good games, actually. I think Chapman's played well for Ebbsfleet too. Referee blows for a free kick over on the far side to Ebbsfleet. Didn't quite see what happened there, but there wasn't too many protests, so suggests it was the right decision.
In conditions like this, the last thing you want to do is keep giving them free kicks to put the ball in the box, and anything could fall anywhere, and they could get back level if
Paxman with a neat ball through, but it's well tracked back by Villette. Ebbsfleet throw-in. Referee does not like the positioning there of the Ebbsfleet player, but he's put him in his place, and it is a throw-in eventually. It's good pressure from Miller Rodney. We're trying not to let Ebbsfleet play a lot of their passing game, it has to be said. And there he is, Luke Ruddock at the back, striding forward for the Beavers. Luke Ruddock with a good ball through, slightly overcooked that one, and well dealt with by Jordan Holmes at the back. Bingham. Solly. Karaman. Back to Solly. Nice ball. Meckie. Bobby Joe Taylor. Good pressing from Hampton, not letting Ebbsfleet, and that's a nice ball through. And Bingham with the ball, and he's taken that down well, Bingham. Waiting for support. There's not too many Ebbsfleet players in the box, but they are trying to fill it now. But 14 for Ebbsfleet. Iffy Allen, once again, looking quite dangerous on the wing, Iffy Allen, number 14. Paxman again. I've lost count how many times I've said Paxman's name throughout this game so far. He really has been the playmaker for Ebbsfleet, and you've only got to look at the colour of his kit to see the influence and how involved Jack Paxman has been for Ebbsfleet. But everything has gone through him. He's had a very, very good game, it has to be said.
I'm not sure their kit man will be happy with him.
No, definitely not.
I mean, one thing we've seen time and again, that when Hampton do take the lead, Gary does not allow, the team to sit back. And I'm sure Dean's nodding his head. It's not a thing that Gary ever countenances. If you've got a goal, you need to get a second. One goal isn't enough. You need the second, and you don't go defending one. You need to defend two.
Hampton's substitution, Nico Muir, is going to be leaving the field. He's had a good game, I think, Dean.
Yeah, he has had a very good game today. And I'm guessing the thinking behind that is to get, like I said earlier, the balls, if we're defending, we'd be defending a lot, but you'd imagine Ebbsfleet are going to throw everything at it. And if we can just get the clearances for Nathan's pacing behind to try and get a second.
Yeah, Nathan Minas is coming on. A familiar story this season for Nathan. He's had a bit of bad luck as well with the injury that he had on the game when he did start. He's got a lot of potential, Minas, and he's going to be looking to prove a point today.
Yeah, he's a real hard worker as well.
Yeah, real hard worker and all-round nice guy from what I hear. Paxman once more for the Fleet. Spreading the ball. Iffy Allen. Taylor. Nice reverse pass by Taylor. Paxman picks up. Iffy Allen. Sam Cox, well marshalled so far by Sam Cox. Goes to ground, Sam. He gets up very quickly, and it's a nice ball through, but Kyron Farrell at the back post for Hampton doing very well. And Tyrrell Miller-Rodney robs Paxman of the ball, Tyrrell Miller-Rodney, and he's... and that's a... I thought that was going through, I must say. But Paxman looking like he's had a very, very busy, let's just say, 78 minutes. He looks pretty knackered so far, has to be said. But well won by Miller-Rodney.
That just goes to show the value of what T brings to the midfield. His engine. I mean, he never seems to stop. He always seems to be going at the same pace in minute 90 than he does in minute 1. And he just gets his nose into everything. And that's the kind of player sometimes that you need in midfield.
Yep.
Somebody who can get in there, be a spoiler, and put him alongside likes of Sam Deadfield and Jake Gray. He really has some value to the club.
Absolutely.
Very entertaining game of football this today. And where are we now? Just approaching 80 minutes on the clock. This is, whilst despite Hampton being in the lead, we are certainly not resting on our laurels, and Ebbsfleet have looked dangerous throughout this game, and you certainly wouldn't rule out them having certainly at least one more opportunity on goal, probably more. So there's a lot of work for Hampton to do to hold this lead. But so far, this has been a much better performance second half, and I think Gary will be pleased with what we've done. It feels like we've really dealt with. I mean, Paxman's obviously still had an influence on the game, but we certainly dealt with Paxman better this second half. There's no doubt about that. And we mentioned at the beginning, Rob, around Jake Gray's the move for Jake Gray going into the middle of the park, which to my mind suits his play a lot better, and he's more effective there.
I think in his post-match interview, Gary might be willing to admit that was just a little bit of a slight mistake in the team selection, and he's found out that that's
positioned under threat, I'm afraid to say.
Just looking at the goal,
Carvalho. That's a nice ball, and it's gone to Vilhet. Vilhet, and he's dinked it across Vilhet, and what a
finish! That is just so controlled, so calm. It's somebody who's he's played at a higher level. When he's played in National League, played National League. I don't know if he played for Barnet when they were in the EFL. But you could see the composure on the ball that Mauro brought to that that opportunity.
Yeah.
I think Nico would have probably done the same if he'd been in that position. And that's it's just showing that's the kind of thing that you need up front.
Slight break in play here, just whilst there is I think that there was an Ebbsfleet injury that they've just been dealing with. I'm struggling to see the numbers there, Rob, but there was.
Like a number 1.
It looked like.
Yeah, it did. Now that's a curious one, because Tom Hadler's the second goalkeeper. That's more like
there we go.
Number 10, Mike West.
Mike West is on for the visitors, and was it Ben Chapman, number 22?
Chapman. Yeah, Chapman coming off, and Mike West replacing him. That could make it interesting for the Beavers.
Well, Ebbsfleet have made all 3 substitutions now, so they've got 3 fresh pair of legs. And to pause there, Bingham through on goal for Ebbsfleet. Good turn of pace for Bingham, and Alan Julian with the save, and the ball has gone into the net. And that's a very, very good goal from Ebbsfleet. Despite Alan Julian's best efforts, unfortunately the ball goes over, and unfortunately, as I say, for Hampton, the ball is into the net, and it's a good goal for Ebbsfleet.
When you look at this, Bingham was allowed to run into the box almost unchallenged, and despite Alan Julian's best attempt at saving, he couldn't get enough of it on the ball, and as it went up, it just rolled. It just bounced into the place to be put in.
That may even be given as an own goal. We'll have to double check the replays on that. But what a turn of pace from Bingham, Dean. We called him out at the beginning. He's the danger man. There's no doubt about that up top for the Fleet. And
he's done well. He's done very well there. As much as it pains me to say, he's done very well there. And Jules won't be happy because he's done everything he could, and unfortunately it just fell for them.
Hampton and Richmond Borough 1, Ebbsfleet United 1.
I think we're going to have a very open 10 minutes now.
Yeah, this is what National League South football is all about. 2 very good teams. It has to be said, full credit to the players. They've not been fazed by the conditions out there, which aren't easy. And you should never underestimate. Steve Bates was saying in his half-time interview, you should never underestimate the quality of non-league football. You know, there are some very, very good players out there, Rob, on show, from both, well, across the division, it's fair to say, and you know, these two teams clearly no exception. Yeah, we are in for a very tense, I think, and exciting. And Tyrrell Miller-Rodney, well, he's on a yellow, Miller-Rodney, and the referee, the referee looked like he was thinking about putting his hand in his pocket there. I don't know whether he all of a sudden hit home that he was already on a yellow. Perhaps if he hadn't had the yellow, he might have pulled one out there.
Might have done, but I think the referee Michael Ryan's elected to just manage the situation and just remind T that, look, you've got a yellow card, just cool it. I don't want to have to send you.
That was quite hard. I think Ty's gone to make the tackle and just stopped, and the lads fell over and kind of sucked the ref in, and he's given it.
Hampton has switched off a little bit there, and fortunately for the Beavers, the ball was not a great one in, and we were able to intercept. Hampton need to not sort of let their concentration go right now. This is an important few minutes. A 1-1 draw against a top side like Ebbsfleet is not a bad result. I mean, clearly Gary McCann will be wanting us to get the win. There's no question about that. We're not going to sit back for sure. But there is still clearly a point is better than no points, and it's cliched, but it is abundantly clear as far as I'm concerned that both these sides want all 3 points today. There's no doubt about it.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we've got 5 minutes left. Given the fact that Hampton have got one substitution available to them, if Gary were to make one, what do we think he might do? I mean, he's got Zach Coleman there.
Coleman's the obvious one.
Yeah. It looks like Christian Smith's getting kitted up, ready to come on.
Just as Christian Smith trips off, yeah. Oh, that's a foul. The ref's going to give a foul there, and he's the Ebbsfleet striker, I think it was Bingham, has tried to do an overhead kick, and he's absolutely clattered. I think, is it Donaldson on the floor? No, it's not Donaldson, it's not Ruddock. I'm struggling to see who that is, I must admit, but he certainly got a boot in the chops, there's no doubt about that, and he remains on the floor.
Yeah, it looks like Christian Smith's coming on, and he'll just sit in front of the back four, I'd imagine, just to shore it up.
Yeah, he's another. We've got quite a few players in amongst the team, amongst the squad, Dean, who are pretty versatile. We've mentioned a few of them so far, but you've got obviously Sam Cox, very versatile, Miller-Rodney, Rue Donaldson, not Dean Inman because you're a centre half through, obviously, as we know. But Christian Smith, another one. I mean, he's equally at home in defensive midfield as he is at the back, and vice versa.
Yep, I mean, at Dulwich last year, he played the majority of the season as a centre half. And then when I was with him at Maidenhead, he was centre midfield, and with Hampton this year, he's been a bit of both, hasn't he?
Yeah. I'm still struggling to see who that is on the floor. It might be Farrell, actually.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Kyron Farrell just getting some treatment, the Hampton left back. He doesn't look like he's in too much pain, thankfully.
What you'd like to see, though, good brave defending, sticking his head in the way.
Yeah, exactly. 86 minutes on the clock. Hampton and Richmond Borough 1.
That could make it interesting for the Beavers.
Well, Ebbsfleet have made all 3 substitutions now, so they've got 3 fresh pair of legs. And to pause there, Bingham through on goal for Ebbsfleet. Good turn of pace for Bingham, and Alan Julian with the save, and the ball has gone into the... Looked to me like it was an own goal, but we don't like to give own goals, obviously. So I'm quite content with it being given to West. So about probably with extra time, we've probably got. What do we got now? 3 minutes of normal time. We may have sort of 6 or 7 minutes to go. So quite some time still to play in this encounter. And
it looks like both teams are going for the win as well.
Yeah, far from over. That's for sure. And it's well won in the air there by Miller-Rodney. But that ball, it's actually a very good ball in the end.
Might hold up with a note.
Yeah, well defended. As the referee calls Kyron Farrell back onto the play following his injury.
Marrow, you wouldn't look at him and think he'll be good in the air, but he's got a hell of a spring.
He's got a great spring on him, hasn't he? Holmes with a good kick up. Well won. Jake Gray. Iffy Allen just getting the ball caught under his feet a little bit there. Meckie. Nice ball out by Meckie to the right winger for Ebbsfleet, but a bit of confusion there from Ebbsfleet, and the ball does break for Hampton midfielder, and it's Jake Gray with the ball for Hampton and Richmond Borough. Villette, nice 1-2, but that's a bit too far for Jake Gray, and it's well dealt with by Taylor. But the bit of a missed kick from the Ebbsfleet goalkeeper, and the ball goes straight to Hampton, and Jake Gray with the ball, and that's a good ball through, but it's, yeah, nobody. Gary's going to want someone on that.
It's becoming a bit like a basketball match now, isn't it? Very end-to-end.
Fantastic tracking back there by Villette once more. He's had a really, really good debut for Hampton.
Yeah, he's probably up there as a contender of one of the man of the matches today.
Yeah, we're going to go on to, I'll do a little man of the match thing in a little while, so get your thinking caps on, Dean and Rob, and we'll come to a consensus. Just as I talk now, as you pointed out, Dean, looks like Christian Smith is going to come on for Hampton, and it's captain fantastic Luke Ruddock who's going to be leaving the pitch.
There's another one that's had a very good game today.
He's had in my view, as I said earlier on, I can't recall him putting a foot wrong today. I think he's had a brilliant game, I really do.
He never looks like he's been out injured, even though he's been out a while. He comes back in, and you'd never know it.
Christian Smith on for Hampton, number 19.
Christian will be the target here for Kyron.
We all know Christian's qualities in the air. And there he is. And the goalkeeper comfortably collects. And once more, very good distribution, the Ebbsfleet goalkeeper Holmes today. Ebbsfleet. For Ebbsfleet, should I say. Smith.
That's a great ball.
Yeah, it's a good ball.
It's a non-league area.
David Fisher chasing down. And it's well dealt with by Adebayo Rowling.
That could make it interesting for the Beavers.
Well, Ebbsfleet have made all 4 substitutions now,
Yep.
so they've got 3 fresh pair of legs.
Injury time
And to pause there,
to
Bingham
play.
through
We're
on
on the
goal
90-minute
for Ebbsfleet. Good turn of pace for
Hampton
Bingham, and
Richmond
Alan
won,
Julian with the
Ebbsfleet won.
save.
The game
And the ball has
slightly
gone
peaked
into
out
the
a
little bit the last couple of minutes.
Yeah,
but
it's been very stop-start, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Last few minutes.
The Ebbsfleet, I think that's the Ebbsfleet manager, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't think he was too pleased about the throwing.
No, he is Dennis Kutrib, I think his pronunciation is. Just getting a bit of a talking to from the referee there, being reminded of his responsibilities, let's just say. I don't think he was particularly happy with the decision that was made, but anyway, going back to the field of play, and Hampton on the attack here. Goes out for a Hampton throw. There's actually 4, if you include Miller Rodney, there's actually 5 Hampton players that are not in the box here. Certainly not going all out on this attack, but anyway. Villette. That's well won. Well won by Ebbsfleet there. By Alex, I think that was Alex Erich, if I'm not mistaken. Done very well. Jake Gray, a nice run through, but Farrell didn't quite see him, and it's a little bit scrappy in the middle of the park right now. Miller Rodney. One back by Ebbsfleet. And Bingham with the ball. Ebbsfleet on the attack with Bingham. Bingham with a nice shot, and it's relatively tame in the end. Alan Julian very happy to let that one go. Equally as happy to let the Ebbsfleet winger go and run and get the ball for him. A couple of minutes to go. So, in terms of man of the matches, gentlemen, let's go for the best, in your opinion, the man of the match on both home team and away team, and then we can come to a conclusion.
Well, away team, it'll be Jack Paxman. Home team, he'd probably Rue, Donaldson, Luke Ruddock, or Mauro Villette. It could be any one of them 3, really.
Yep. Mr. Overfield?
I couldn't find anything to argue with that one. I think Paxman's had the greatest influence on the game in a white shirt.
Oh, there's a ball through, and it's gone in the goal, and it's a fantastic. David Fisher with the goal. What a ball across from Nathan Minas, I think it was. And David Fisher at the back post has finished that with poise. I mean, what a fantastic goal for Hampton.
I'm having to stop myself from jumping around now, I tell you. What a great goal.
I was not expecting that, it has to be said.
Great ball from the wide right there.
Jake Gray with the ball.
Ironically, in the position that
ironically, we were saying he was ineffective in the first half. What a ball! I mean, what a ball across from Jake Gray. But we cannot ignore. I mean, it was David Fisher to his movement to get in front of the defender to get on the end of that ball.
Ghosted round the back and just shot in front of him at the last minute. It was a great goal. That's a defender's nightmare, that is, when you can't see the striker.
The goalkeeper started to come. It was in a perfect position.
Yeah.
The goalkeeper started to come, backtracked. He was in no man's land, and of course David Fisher's come across. And well,
I have to admit that this was the point I was going to make. I mean, that was Jordan Holmes' ball. He had time enough. I mean, because when you look at where David finished off, it was well inside the 6-yard box. That is Jordan Holmes' ball. He should have been out for that one. He should have had it in hand. He had the time, he had the opportunity, and he backed off. So if anything, that goal, I'm afraid, Ebbsfleet, you've got to lay at his door. He should have picked that one off.
There can't be too long left now, surely.
You're looking at, well, I mean, you've got 94 on the clock.
So seconds, it'll be a case of any time, it'll be about 30, 40 seconds at the most, I reckon.
Adebayo Rowling's had a really good game for Ebbsfleet today. With the ball. Last attack for Ebbsfleet, you would imagine. Rowling. Oh, and he's through. Iffy Allen is through, and it's well
great tracking
cut out there.
Sam Deadfield.
Was that Deadfield, Dean? Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I suspect after this corner comes over and if it gets cleared, the referee will call it.
Is it a corner?
It is.
It is a corner. It's a corner for Ebbsfleet in the dying minutes of this fantastic game. It has to be said. It's 2-1 to the hosts. This is probably going to be the last kick and certainly the last passenger player of this game. It's 2-1 to the hosts, as I say. And Hampton are going to be looking to deal with this. If we do, we've won the game, there's no doubt about it. And it's well defended. Now there's cries for the final whistle, but the referee has not blown. And immediately Paxman is on the attack for Ebbsfleet, as he has done so much. And he's not the ball back. And the final whistle goes. And it's a win for Hampton and Richmond Borough. Well, I can catch my breath. Hampton and Richmond Borough 2, Ebbsfleet United 1. And, well, I'm going to have to pass over to you, Rob.
I'll give you a few moments to catch your breath there, Matt, because that was just an amazing finish to the game. I mean, up till the point of Mauro Villiet getting the goal, with 20 minutes to go, this game didn't have much in it. And then against a goal from Mauro in the 69th minute, the equaliser credited to Mike West. Left the final 15 minutes on a bit of a knife edge, but that finish created there. In many ways by Jake Gray down this right-hand side. The ball was, again, I firmly think that was Jordan Holmes' ball to be picked off. That was a keeper's ball, and he just left it. And, when you look at these goals, every one of them had an element of quality to it.
You're positioned under threat, I'm afraid to say.
We've got the first one here from
Carvalho. That's a nice ball, and it's gone to Villiet.
Nowhere. Mauro just stepped up and just delicately dinked it over Holmes. There wasn't much, much else was going to happen to that one. For the Beavers.
Well, absolutely.
The equaliser. This is the moment of quality here. Bingham going forward, getting into the box. Alan Julian got a lot on it, and it looks like West did get the final touch in there. And to completely.
I couldn't find anything to argue with that one. I think Paxman's had the greatest influence on the game in the white shirt.
Oh, there's a ball through, and it's gone in the goal, and it's a fantastic. It's Nathan.
A great instinctive finish there by David Fisher.
And what a ball by Jake Gray.
Yeah, great ball. It was always going to be the case because we were saying he was ineffective on the right.
We were saying he's ineffective on the right, so what does he go and do? Do the best ball of the game. But, take nothing away from Ebbsfleet. I think that they are a very good and very strong side. They've got some very good players.
It's a great win that is today for us.
A thoroughly entertaining game, and it's fair to say that is a cracking 3 points. I mean, our home form, we didn't actually touch on it before the game, Rob, but our home form has been indifferent, let's just say. I mean, clearly we've lost a fair few games this season at home, and it's obviously pleasing to get the draw against Dorking in the previous game, who were a very strong side, as we know, and today the win against a strong Ebbsfleet side. So that is well, all 3 points are pleasing, but that is a very, very pleasing 3 points.
And if you go back to the point that I made before the game, when you compare the respective teams playing against Dorking, they lost to Dorking. We took 4 points off them, and this result backs that up. It bears that out. That the Hampton, as long as there's minutes, as long as there's time on the board, Gary will want the team to go forward and try and get the points. He doesn't want to settle for a draw if he can avoid it. And we saw this afternoon that, the substitutions worked. Jake Gray, didn't have the best of first halves. He wasn't really involved in it too much, but brought him back into the centre, and that shut down Paxman. And you know something? We never got to complete doing our play. Our players of match.
I was just thinking about that. I mean, we're all three of us are agreed on Paxman for the Ebbsfleet 21. Jack Paxman, I thought, was excellent in midfield. He had a really, really good game. And I think for Hampton, for me, I mean. No, you were actually doing yours, Rob, when we got interrupted by the goal. So I'll let you finish yours off, because I mean, Dean's obviously gone through the three of the Hampton players who were certainly the three in my top three for sure.
If Jake Gray had a better first half, I would have gone for him. But just on the basis of that performance on that pitch and that quality, I've got to go with Maz. I've got to go with Mauro. He's come on there. He's not had much in the way of game time in the last few weeks, and he's come on and he's made that difference, playing off Nico. Just buzzing around, making a proper all-round pest of himself, which is what as a defending team you don't want. You don't want that player that you can't tie down. And that finish and the all-round performance for the Hampton side, I'd go with Mauro.
Yeah, Ruddick, Donaldson, and Villette for me.
Yeah, see, I'd more side towards Rue Donaldson.
He's
purely for the fact he's not a centre half. He's been thrown in at centre back, and on a heavy pitch, it's hard to defend. And he's defended unbelievably all day long.
We've got to agree between us. I'll have the parting line. I'll tell you what. Let's get our star guest for today. Go on then, Dean. Who are we going to go for? Rue?
Yeah, Rue Donaldson for me.
Rue Donaldson is the Beavers man of the match from the commentary team today, and Paxman for Ebbsfleet. But hope you all enjoyed that. It was a thoroughly entertaining game. As you can see from the live pictures, the Hampton squad are all sort of just outside the centre circle having a bit of a post-match conversation. I mean, there's some happy faces over there. There's no doubt about that. We're going to try, if we can. I unfortunately can't promise, because Gary does often get consumed in the moment, as you can fully appreciate, and as he is obviously perfectly entitled to. So as Gary walks off, I'm going to try and grab him and ask him for a couple of questions. So we can carry on mumbling for another minute or two to see if I can grab him. If he ignores me, which he is perfectly entitled to do, and he certainly won't be doing that intentionally, that's for sure.
I think he'll be quite happy to do an interview today.
He usually is, but yeah, exactly. So we will just hold on to the live stream for now. But that's a very good point, Rob, who is waving the FOTMob app in front of my eyes, because that is a very, very good way to kill some time. Let's go through the rest of the results of the National League South.
Yes, we mustn't forget. We've got to look at the other results again, brought to us by the amazing work of our sponsors, FOTMob. And going through the results, up at New Lodge, it's Billericay 2, Dulwich 0. Dartford 1, Hungerford 1. That's been definitely top of the table game, and for Dartford to be held, to a draw on their own patch by Hungerford, that is a good result for them. The surprising result of the afternoon is actually down at Havant, whereas Eastbourne Borough have come back into that to win away from home by 2-1. And the final match played in the division this afternoon was at Slough, where Slough have actually beaten Braintree by 3-2. So that's going to make it very interesting when you look at the table. And the table, as it stands now this afternoon, it's going to be
very tight at the top.
It's going to be very tight at the top, with Dartford only drawing, and the results in around us have all gone our way. It puts Hampton in fifth. Hampton are still in fifth. They're just 3 points behind Hungerford in fourth. And that's a good position to be in now for the Beavers.
And I think that's us done.
It is. Dean, thank you ever so much for joining us today.
Don't tell the gaffer what I'm saying about him.
No, I won't say anything to the gaffer, who I have managed to track down, by the way, you'll be pleased to hear. But Dean Inman, it's been a pleasure. Thank you ever so much for joining today. We don't want you here again because we want you on the pitch, but thank you ever so much.
Got to get back in the team now.
He's got all yeah. Do you know what? I was going to say that, Gary. I am joined, hopefully, I think are we on me? We are on me. Gary McCann. What are your views on that game?
Tough game, really tough game. I think we played against opposition that showed their credentials. I think they played through the lines and stayed true to it, even on a difficult pitch, and that's credit to them. They broke our press a few times, and they got beyond us on a few occasions. But defensively, I thought we was outstanding. Yeah. I thought Kyron, Rue Donaldson, Luke Ruddock, and Sam Cox were magnificent, and you have to be. It's I can't emphasise enough how big an ask it is to keep having these breaks in between, and we're not dealing with it on our own. We're not complaining. We're just stating the obvious. It's been 14 days since our last competitive game, and you're not going to be quite up to match sharpness and match speed, and you've really got to dig in, and you've got to show togetherness, you've got to show resilience. And if you look at the last two games, Dorking here and Ebbsfleet here, we've shown that. To get a disappointment, a bit of adversity, an equaliser, and then come back and win it, and maybe should have gone on and won it against Dorking as well a couple of weeks ago. So it speaks volumes for the group of players we've assembled. Yeah,
no, I agree with that, Gary. We were saying in the comms around how effective Paxman was in the first half for Ebbsfleet, and certainly from our standpoint, it was clear that if he needed dealing with, let's just say, was that part of your half-time talk? So from our standpoint, it looked like you did that very well.
We knew Marrow was giving us plenty offensively and going the other way, but we don't want to nullify his qualities by doing too much going the other way. Jake Gray is a natural central midfielder. We know that. We put him over the right so that we could get Marrow in and around, and in transition on the half turn and at their back four, which we felt with how expensive they are in the way they play, that would work for us. But what it meant was it tended to see Sam and Terrell overloaded in there, because there was no real sitter in there, as much as the 24 wants to sit in there, and he's going to join and create triangles, and it made it tough for us. So moving Jake inside and Marrow back outside, I thought got us a better foothold in the game. We still wasn't perfect, but I felt we were better for it. And I did say to Marrow, with how offensive their fullbacks are in transition, if we can turn the ball over and get you in on the other side of them, make sure you go in there and finish, and he did that.
We'll have a chat with him in a minute.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it was a real team performance. I think that there's no really standout individual. I think it was a collective effort.
We were struggling ourselves actually, think for man of match, because there's quite a few on the list. We felt. I mean, we had over 1,000 people at one point watching in today, brilliant. And I say to you every time, and Seb obviously does the interviews regularly as well, we've got half those still watching in now. I mean, what do you say to the fans? I mean, clearly everybody wants all back in.
Well, I say to them that the football team, firstly, the ones that are out on the pitch and the management team are doing something right. Because if we're getting viewers along them sort of numbers, it tells you that we're doing something correct on the pitch. But also the streaming service and the commentators and the co-commentators, it's a collective effort, and that's obviously what's bringing people back. We're doing our best as a football club, and I think we're doing brilliantly to keep people engaged and involved in what we're doing with the stream and as I say, the service. But we're trying to do our bit on the pitch as well. We're in a fantastic place in the league. I don't think I've said it before, it's a true reflection, because there's so many teams playing catch up and such like, but we want them back, of course we do. Is that going to be this season? It's looking highly unlikely, so we've got to continue to keep doing our bit, as a football club like we are, and we're doing brilliantly. The comments we get from afar about our stream is credit to Dave and Seb and yourself and everyone here, Rob, everyone who's this side of the fence doing their bit for the media, doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, thanks Gary, I appreciate your kind words.
I mean it.
Malroe Vill, we're going to have a quick interview with Malroe, but what are your views on his performance, who I thought was excellent?
Yeah, look, he's a player that we're familiar with, he's a player that I'm familiar with, he knows how I work, he knows what I require, but he falls into that, that ethic and that, blueprint that we demand. He works as hard off the ball as he does on it. You've seen that right in the 90th minute, chasing back and making a great last-ditch tackle from an offensive position. It's him. He's a good person as well as a good player, and I'm really pleased to have him in the building. He's definitely going to be an asset.
Good to hear. Gary, well played. Thank you ever so much, as always. And we'll grab in Malroe. Malroe, quickly speak, just so I get this right. The pronunciation of your surname. Ville-het. So we were at one point we were Ville-het, at one point we were mispronouncing it a few times. Welcome to the Beverley, obviously, and congratulations on a brilliant performance today. I thought you were excellent. In fact, we all thought you were excellent today.
Thank you very much.
What were your sort of your views on the game, and more importantly, what was going through your mind when you were going through on goal there? Because you certainly took that goal with, well, I mean, it was extraordinary how you dealt with that. You're positioned under threat, I'm afraid to say. To be honest with you, I mean, what was going through your head?
I knew the keeper plays quite high. He did throughout the whole game, so it was kind of, we had already said if we had a chance, even if it's from the middle of the pitch, if we can lob him, try it. But to be fair, we didn't really get the chance. But as I was going through, I could just see that he's going down early, so it was just try to dink him and see if it goes in, and luckily
great finish. Great finish. What, I mean, we saw a lot of your qualities today, but what would you say are your top 3 qualities in terms of you as a player? I mean, clearly you're a very effective offensively, and sort of you were playing off of Nico Muir a lot. I mean, is that I assume that's your best position, is it?
Yeah, my favourite position.
Your favourite position? Yeah, cool.
I like being in and around the box, try to create more chances for my teammates.
Yeah, that's good.
And hopefully I can add a few more goals to my game as well.
Yeah, well, I think every Hampton fan will be hoping you do that. And long may you stay with us for a long time, because I thought your performance today was excellent. I'm sure everybody watching this today will say the same. So,
thank you.
Well played, Mauro, and best luck with your time at the Beverley.
Thank you very much. Take
Cheers.
care.
Thank you, mate.
Appreciate that.
So that's this afternoon's game here at the Chris Sweet Beverley, a 2-1 victory for the Beavers. I mean, who doesn't like a last-minute goal such as that? The thing is, now Hampton have now got to take that forward into the fixtures for, into the next match. It's going to be, the next match we've got is now Tuesday the 26th, because the match against Tunbridge has been postponed thanks to our friend the coronavirus. And playing here, in 10 days' time against Slough Town, who won today, is not going to be an easy ask. But then again, Gary's not going to have any problem getting them ready for that game. They've got 10 days to rest. They've got a couple of good training sessions under their belts, probably a third on the Saturday afternoon as well. There's no reason why on here at Beverley that they can't continue this start of a run of form.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd agree with that totally, Rob. I think we're done. That was a fantastic game. Hopefully you all enjoyed that. Thank you ever so much for joining us today. As I say, hrbfc.live for the donation. There's a donate button there. We do intend on continuing to provide this service totally free of charge. Therefore, any donations will be greatly received. It's Hampton and Richmond 1, Ebbsfleet United. Sorry, Hampton and Richmond 2, Ebbsfleet United 1. And it's 3 points for the Beavers. Thanks for joining us. A nice ball, and it's gone to Ville-het. Ville-het, and he's dinked it across Ville-het, and what a...
I couldn't find anything to argue with that one. I think Paxman's had the greatest influence on the game in a white shirt.
Oh, this ball through, and it's gone in the goal, and it's a fantastic. It's